Guys are going to come out and play base football. They made some mistakes last week and got beat, and by God, they're not going to let their quarterback beat them. They're going to play base football, just exactly like Tom Desert played against you. Base football, occasional curl, occasional out. That's what they're going to do.
It's been a rivalry with Palm Springs for 50 years, man. 50 years. You know what you got to do? Read your keys, make plays. Let's go out and have some fun tonight. Let's run around.
Come on, John! Come on, Red.
And the Bulldogs of Hemet High School on the field. They have traveled some 45 minutes for tonight's showdown against Palm Springs High School, the Hemet Bulldogs. And here comes Palm Springs High School. The Indians, they have a record of 3-2. They'll be taking on their home turf against Hemet tonight.
Sports Channel America presents the National Federation High School Game of the Week.
Live from Ralph Watts Stadium in Palm Springs, California, Sports Channel America presents the National Federation High School Game of the Week. Tonight's game features the Hemet Bulldogs versus the Palm Springs Indians. And tonight's game is brought to you by Gatorade Thirst Quencher. Gatorade for that deep down body thirst. Good evening and welcome to the National Federation High School Game of the Week on Sports Channel America. I'm Bob Papa. This is our 5th stop along the high school tour as we'll bring you the best in football and basketball throughout the course of the year here on Sports Channel America. And this week we stop up in the desert, home of Frank Sinatra, Palm Springs, California. And once again, I'm joined by former Miami Dolphin defensive back Glenn Blackwood. And Glenn, when you get a look at Palm Springs High School, this is an explosive bunch.
They're an explosive football team. They've got one explosive football player, number 20, Danny Keenau. Now, he just came out of the hospital. He had had a car wreck earlier in the week. He was having some problems. They put him in the hospital, gave him a thorough physical, but he came back and he practiced yesterday, and they want to get the ball in Danny Keenau's hands. He's a game breaker, but you can't just concentrate on Danny Keenau. You've also got number 88, Marvin Stanford. He's averaged 20 yards per reception. He's leading the conference in receiving so far this year.
Okay, at the quarterback position, Bobby Hendricks will be doing the signal calling. Now, Hendricks is trying to replace Chad Davis, who transferred to Torrey Pines outside of San Diego.
Well, and Hendricks is a solid quarterback, and anytime, you know, when you talk about an offense, you're going to talk about the quarterback. He's going to have to play a steady game. He's done that so far this year. They're going to look to him to be a steadying force out there. He's a leader for them.
Well, Hemet has a leader of their own. He's outstanding in the classroom with a grade point average well over 3, A.T. Page.
A.T. Page is the quarterback for Hemet. He's number 3, and Randy Brown, the coach for Hemet, said that A.T. Page is going to be a player. He said he's big, he's fast, he can throw the football. Once he finds out exactly what he needs to be doing and gets good direction and gets a little experience, he's going to be great.
Well, the man that they'll be throwing to is John Livingston. They need the ball in his hands.
Well, number 81, John Livingston, has averaged 23.9 yards per catch this year. He's a game breaker. Coach Cheek for Palm Springs said, we've got to worry about John Livingston all the time. We want to double him. We want to keep him out of the football game. If we can keep the ball out of his hands, we got a chance to shut them down.
Well, there are some game breakers here in the desert tonight. Hemet against Palm Springs, the opening kickoff coming up. We now pause for a regional break. Hemet High School coach Randy Brown and his ailing back in his 6th season at Hemet High School, 34 wins, 22 losses, and 2 ties. And the head coach for Palm Springs, Jerry Cheek, in his 16th year, 109 wins, 43 losses, and 2 ties. And he is truly an outstanding man. And back deep for Hemet, John Livingston, number 81, and number 88, Enrique Sanchez. Sanchez on the left of your screen. And kicking the football off for Palm Springs High School, number 44, Jared Chapman. Watch out for Livingston. He takes the football at his own 12. He can break it. across the 30-yard line and out of bounds just short of the 35-yard line. That's where the Hemet Bulldogs take over 1st and 10. As you get a look at John Livingston head back to the huddle with the rest of the offensive unit. Let's take a look how they'll line up. Quarterback A.T. Page. Adrian Thomas is his name. 764 yards on the year. Orlando Lewis has 4 touchdown runs this year. And watch out for Livingston. There is the offensive line. Eastman and Ziegler, the experienced linemen on that right side and left side. They really can blow out some holes. Jeff Serby is the tight end. He has good hands. 1st and 10. Lewis in motion. And Page will throw right from the start. And he's got his man. And the pass caught by Enrique Sanchez. Gain of about 5. Here's the defense for Palm Springs. Andy Murin, number 66, the nose guard. Watch out for him. He is very quick. Romo Johnson, Esteban, and Woodson surround him. Let's take a look at the rest of them. The linebackers, Pelham, he calls the signals. Mike Brantley, a hard hitter there, along with Dorsey. And the backfield, Kinal, watch out for him, the free safety. He is a big hitter. 2nd and about 5. Handoff for Lewis, straight up the middle. He's short of a 1st down, but a good gain on the play. Pickup of about 4.
Coach Randy Brown, Bob, had talked about he wanted to really have some ball control if he could, and he's just running some very conservative plays to start off the game, get their feet wet a little bit. They're doing a nice job so far. 3rd and short.
3rd and 1. From the 46-yard line. Hemet in the white, Palm Springs in the black. Lewis struggling forward, and it looks like he has the 1st down. He was hit in the backfield, but Marlando Lewis, the outstanding tailback with a 3.0 grade point average, surges ahead. And they call it a 1st down.
One of the things, a lot of running backs, when they're out in the open, it's real pretty, but some of the best running you'll see is when they run inside. And here's Marlando Lewis. He gets hit in the backfield, but keeps his feet, keeps his legs driving, and churns far enough forward to get the 1st down. Good job by Marlando Lewis.
1st and 10 for Hemet. Page to throw. That's Livingston across the 45-yard line. Gain of about 3. And he is corralled on the play. Number 3, Mike Brantley on the tackle. But there you get a look at John Livingston with his 2.8 grade point average.
Well, he's a real game breaker, but they're going to be doubling him the whole game. If you'll look, this is just a quick hitch pass, but that cornerback is on him right now. And the reason he can fly up there and make the tackle so quickly, he's got a safety covering him up deep so that he can make an aggressive play short. They're going to try and double Livingston all game long.
The Hemet Bulldogs, some 45 minutes out of Palm Springs, California. They say 2nd. Oh, they fake the shovel, and they hit the tight end over the middle. That's Jeff Serby, good enough for a 1st down. And inside Palm Springs High School territory, down to about the 43.
You can tell that Coach Randy Brown had to have scouted Palm Springs well. Probably noticed that their linebackers flew up on run fakes. Nice little toss fake to the running backs, gets the linebackers flying up, and the tight end comes open, makes a nice catch on it. 1st down.
Jeff Serby with a nice catch there. Get a look at Serby, 3.0 grade point average. 1st and 10 for Hemet from the 43, and the quarterback Page keeps it and struggles forward for about 2, maybe 3. Brought down by Andy Murin and company, but Hemet, who comes in with a record of 1-4 and 0-2 in this Ivy League, they have come out and they have started to move the football. A.T. Page, the quarterback, doing a fine job.
Well, Randy Brown said that A.T. Page is just going to be a great football player. It's just going to take him time to get his feet wet, get comfortable back there. He's only a junior, but he's got a lot of talent.
2nd and 6, I formation. This is Lewis, and he slashes inside the 35-yard line. Another good gain by Marlando Lewis. He's short of a 1st down. He'll need about 3 for a Hemet 1st down. This is quarter number 1. We're in Palm Springs, California. Jerry Cheek, the head coach of Palm Springs High School, hoping his defense can tighten up. Hemet with the football on the 1st possession of the game, and they have moved it down the field quite effectively. 3rd down and 2 for Hemet. Play action, and they give it inside, and Lewis keeps it and gets a good gain out of it. Actually, check that. It was number 40, Josh Prickett.
Well, this was just a great fake. They've been faking to the fullback and handing off to Lewis. This time, they hand off to Josh Prickett, and he just does a good job of barreling his way down the field. Picks up a nice gain. They said they wanted to try and establish a good conservative running game, so they put in Josh Prickett, 5'11", 195, has averaged 8.3 yards per carry, and he showed us a little bit why there.
Split back formation. This is
Look out.
Vulak. He could go all the way. Touchdown, Hemet. Vulak, the junior tailback, came in with Marlando Lewis, and he raced home for the score.
Great job by the right side of that Hemet offensive line. They opened up a gaping hole for Vulak. They had wanted to establish a good conservative, quick-hitting running game. And look at that pulling guard. Number 75, Brian McIntyre, kicks out the defensive end, and Vulak just heads for the end zone.
What a run by the junior Vulak. He averages 4.8 yards a carry, but he runs that one in for over 20 yards and a score. Eric Chinsagram in to kick the extra point. He is just a senior. His family is from Thailand, an excellent soccer player. He can kick both left-footed and right. He missed a 56-yard field goal earlier this year, but he's made a couple from over 40. First year playing football, and he has been an outstanding surprise for the Hemet football team. A 3.3 grade point average. Morton Anderson, Mike Lansford, and Joe Montana are his favorite football player.
Coach Randy Brown said he missed the 56-yarder, but it wasn't short. It was just a little wide left. Said it had plenty of distance on it. The kid just came out. He was a soccer player and said, I think I can kick that football. And he's done a pretty good job of it for Hemet.
Well, this will be a longer extra point, a 25-yard attempt on the delay of game. And you get a look at the strong leg, and the kick is easily good. The extra point by Chisholm, and Hemet leads it by a score of 7-0 on Vulak's touchdown run. We'll be back to Palm Springs, California after this timeout on Sports Channel America.
The Washington Redskins run the counter tray, but here's a little version by Hemet. Blocked down with the right side, pulled the left side, and opened up a gaping hole for Vulak, and he scoots 23 yards into the end zone for a Hemet touchdown.
And there is the blocking of Brown. He was able to blow open the hole. Let's take a look at the scoring drive for Hemet. And they control the football for 3 minutes and 55 seconds, 9 plays, 64 yards. Vulak, a 23-yard touchdown run. So Hemet leads it by a score of 7-0, and Palm Springs in the black has yet to touch the football. Chisholm kicks it off, end-over-end kick, taken by Brantley at his own 10-yard line. Slicing forward, he gets across the 20-yard line, out to the 24, and that's where Palm Springs takes over, 1st and 10. Let's take a look at their offensive setup, and they are led by their quarterback, number 5, Bobby Hendrick, 3.0 grade point average, 724 yards. In the backfield, Brantley, Dorsey, Valdez, and Kinal, they are all explosive. You get a look at the offensive line, Pelham and Clanton on that right side, very strong. Casey Bryan in the middle, outstanding center along with Johnson and Greer. And the tight end, Marvin Stanford, also a game breaker. This team can really break things open. Palm Springs is in the black. And the handoff goes to Dorsey, and he gets nothing. Maurice Chacon, number 74, spearheads it, the nose guard. And let's take a look at the Hemet High School defense. And you see Maurice Chacon, number 74, the nose guard. And he made a fine play there, did the senior, who was also involved in wrestling. So that is a loss of about 1. It'll be 2nd and 11 from the 22-yard line as Hendricks leads out the Palm Springs club. They trail it by a score of 7-0. This is their first possession. 2 receivers out on the right side, 1 split left. Pitch off for Brantley, can't turn the corner. An excellent job of one-on-one tackling that time. And a good job done by the cornerback coming up to support. That was Derek Zimmerman.
One of the things that cornerbacks are asked to do is not only cover wide receivers, but sometimes support. The option's read perfectly by Bobby Hendricks. He pitches, but there comes Derek Zimmerman, the cornerback, up and makes a nice one-on-one tackle out on the sideline.
Well, it is 3rd down and about 8 for Palm Springs High School. From their own 25-yard line, Canal split out wide on the left side. Hendricks is looking for him, fires. He's got Canal, good enough for a first down. And he gets the football across the 40-yard line. Danny Canal, all California. He has 16 catches, 381 yards.
Dan Canal is a fine football player. We talked about his explosive speed, his breakaway ability, but what I want to show you here is great concentration and glue hands. Look at that concentration by Dan Canal. Just does a super job of concentrating on that football, looking it into his hands and tucking it away and getting extra yardage.
Well, there's an I formation right now. Brantley, the up back, and on a 1st and 10, flags fly. And this could be a delay of game for Palm Springs High School with 6:34 to go in quarter number 1.
And an offsides call.
George Kinder doing his John Madden.
Dead ball. Encroachment on the defense. Repeat first down.
In high school football, you cannot jump into the neutral zone. It's automatic 5-yard penalty.
George Kinder, 1st and 5. Handoff for Dorsey, and he's stopped up after a 1-yard gain. With the ball now at the 48-yard line. Let's see where they spot it. It'll be 2nd and about 4. We'll look at Randy Brown with his back to you.
That's his
the headset on.
Brother John Brown is the defensive coordinator.
Randy has a bad back, slipped the disc, and yesterday at practice he could not even stand up straight. 2nd and 4 for Palm Springs from their own 49-yard line. Bobby Hendricks, the quarterback, I formation. Brantley, the up back. The pro set, long count. He'll look to throw. There is some pressure. Gets away, trying to get outside, near a first down, and dragged down close to it. Good job by the senior quarterback, Bobby Hendricks, to escape some trouble. There was pressure from Jason Young, number 89. There is Jerry Cheek, the head coach at Palm Springs. It is good enough for a first down, so the Indians' drive continues, Glenn.
Coach Gerald Cheeks, the only loss they had last year was to Hemet. He said they've got a great rivalry here, but it's also a very friendly rivalry. The coaches have a lot of respect for each other.
Ball at the 47-yard line of Hemet. They are in the white, Palm Springs in the black. Pitch off for Dorsey. Can't get outside. Now does. Turns the corner to the 40 and knocks it out of bounds at about the 36-yard line. Good enough for a first down. And fine running by Kevin Dorsey, the senior running back, who's only 95% because of a bad ankle.
Yeah, he's coming off an ankle injury. You know, one of the things that Randy Brown said worried him was the outside running game of Palm Springs. He said we hadn't done real good on the outside stuff. They do a good job at the point of attack here, but Dorsey just sets up his blocks nicely, sucks the defenders inside, and they get sealed off by the offensive lineman. He scoots outside for a nice gain.
5:29 to go in this first quarter. Palm Springs with the football, trail 7-0. Here's Dorsey, keeping room. He cuts inside, and he's brought down at about the 16-yard line. Big run that time by Kevin Dorsey. What a hole.
You're going to get a look at it as the players see it, as the coaches see it. Ground level right here, and just a basic straight eye handoff. It's like you've seen for years and years by USC and the rest of them. And Dorsey has just nothing but green in front of him. Good job by the offensive line. Casey Bryan, Roman Pelham, and Kelton Johnson, the center and two guards, did a great job of opening that hole up.
Reller split out wide on the left side. Stanford on the right on a 1st and 10. Brantley this time cutting inside, picks up 3, maybe 4 before he's dragged down on the play. But Palm Springs continues to blow some gaping holes in the Hemet defense.
That was one of the things that we were talking yesterday with Randy Brown, and he said that Palm Springs is so big and physical up front that was the thing that worried him most in this football game. And you can see that the offensive line is really doing a good job right now for Palm Springs.
Time remaining in quarter number 1. Canal split out wide on the left side on the 2nd down. That's Dorsey, and he's bumped out of bounds. Let's see, they say he stepped out of bounds at about the 4. Well, what a run by Kevin Dorsey.
You get a look at the power sweep coming right at you this time. Kevin Dorsey with a lead block by Mike Brantley, the pulling guard. He just does a good job of following his blocks. There's nobody outside to support. We'll see him step right out of bounds at the 4-yard line right there. Good call by the official.
Valdez out on the left side as you get a look at Dorsey. This is a 1st and goal from the 4-yard line for Palm Springs. They trail it 7-0. Hendricks bobbles the football. And let's see who comes up with it. There's a flag on the play. See what George Kinder will call here. Giving Jeff Serby an earful.
I believe Hendrick recovered his own fumble.
We have an unsportsmanlike on the defense with an ejection.
Well, they ejected Jeff Kirby there.
Number 91, Jeff Serby, who had a nice catch on the Hemet drive. He is their tight end, along with one of their linebackers.
Let's get a look here at what happened. It's just a simple quarterback center exchange miscue. The ball never gets into Hendrick's hand, and he recovers it very quickly. Can't see what happened there.
All right, well, it is now 1st and goal from the 2. Brantley is the up back, Dorsey the deep back, Hendrick the quarterback. Dorsey knocked out of bounds at about the 1. Good pursuit that time by number 40, Josh Prickett, the linebacker, along with Paul Hawkins and Jason Young.
You get a look at Jeff Kirby there. See if we can get a look here of why it would have been. There he is, number 91 right there. And
they call it a spear. Well, we couldn't see from that angle. Couldn't see from that angle as far as his head was concerned.
Boy,
gives him the thumb. That's something Roger Clemens of the Red Sox can relate to right now. So
I know he's disappointed, and he's a leader for that football team, so that's going to hurt him.
3rd and goal, and we have a whistle from the 1, and another flag on the play as Dorsey was stopped short. And Brantley, see what the call is here. Motion on Palm Springs, so the Indians, who trail it by a score of 7-0 with 4:07 to go in this 1st quarter. And head coach Jerry Cheek looking on, trying to send in the right play. A lot of fans on hand in this one in the desert town of Palm Springs, California.
That'll put them in a 3rd and 6 situation. I think they're going to have 2 options that they're going to have here. One is to keep trying to go wide with a run and attack, or a sprint out option with Bobby Hendricks, where he can either run or pass the football.
How about using the wide side of the field, ball on the right hash mark?
Well, in high school football, there's a lot wider hash marks than there are in pros, so therefore it becomes important to try and go to the wide side.
3rd and goal from the 6. Hendrick keeps it, has a man, incomplete. Out of bounds was number 88, Marvin Stanford, the tight end. He made a great effort to try to stay in.
Well, and it was a nice throw by Hendricks. It was the only place where he threw the ball was that his receiver could get to it. The defensive backs could not get to it. You'll see Hendricks just lofted up, nice soft touch. And let's see here as Stanford is stepping on the line with his right foot. His left foot's out of bounds. Good call by the referee. And that puts him in a 4th and 6 and field goal situation.
Well, they are going to go for it on a 4th and goal from the 6. Lone setback is Brantley. Wing formation. Chapman on the right side. Dorsey in a slot on the left. 3 receivers there. Hendricks, he's got some room. Now he throws it. Touchdown. Touchdown. Kevin Dorsey, number 4. And Palm Springs within 1.
Well, so much for the definite field goal situation. I guess Coach Cheek felt like that he had some things that he knew would work down there in that situation. They just barely missed a touchdown the play prior to that and come up with a nice toss there to Kevin Dorsey.
So Kevin Dorsey had some outstanding runs, and the extra point is good by Jared Chapman, and we are tied up at 7 apiece with 3:49 to go in quarter number 1. We'll be back to Palm Springs after this timeout.
Tell you the key to this play, to this touchdown play, look at the block by number 3, Mike Brantley. Sealed the defensive end inside and buys a lot of time for Bobby Hendricks, and he slides the ball into Kevin Dorsey. Just a good job. Problem on this is that Hendricks is sprinting out to his left. He's got to throw with it. He's a right-handed quarterback, and he does a little Bernie Kosar imitation. Side arms it in there. Here's Danny Keenal as he came down, and there were several people open. He's waving here. Toss it to me. But Kevin Dorsey got the football, and that put 6 points on the scoreboard.
And we are tied up at 7 apiece. Each team has had the football once. Each team has had a long drive. Has scored 7. Jared Chapman to kick it off. Standing back deep, number 81, John Livingston. Number 88, Enrique Sanchez. That's Sanchez. Across the 20. Still on his feet. And gets it out across the 25-yard line. Let's take a look at the scoring drive for Palm Springs High School as they move down the football field and got the touchdown. Hendricks to Dorsey, a 6-yard catch on a 4th and goal from the 6. 14 plays, 81 yards, 4 minutes and 6 seconds. So those are the numbers, and now it's Hemet's turn. 1st and 10 from their own 26-yard line. Hemet in the white, Palm Springs in the black. Handoff for Bulak, who has the touchdown for Hemet, and he is wrapped up after a gain of maybe 1. Time continues to tick away, and quarter 1.
2 very impressive drives to open this game up. Both football teams used a great mixture of run and pass. As you see Randy Brown talking to his offensive football team, they've really done a good job so far. Come out with some excellent play calling, good execution.
2nd and 8. And they keep it on the inside. A quarterback keeper, and that's a kind of strange play on 2nd and 8.
This is the old goose play. We called it the goose play, or you just run up and goose your center, and he snaps it. The rest of the line just stands there, and you try and catch the defense sitting on the back of their heels.
And that's what they did. A.T. Page picked up a good 5 yards, and it is now a 3rd and about 4. You get a look at A.T. Page, the junior quarterback for Hemet High School, 3.5 grade point average. He'll throw under pressure. Dorsey can't get him, and the pass is incomplete. Good pressure by Kevin Dorsey, number 4, on quarterback A.T. Page, and now Hemet will have to punt the football away on that 3rd and 4.
That was good pressure and a good job, good presence of mind by A.T. Page. And one of the things that Randy Brown had talked about was that he really needed to become more seasoned, learn more about what it meant to be a quarterback. And there he avoided the rush and went ahead and didn't throw the interception, just threw it away and let his punt team kick it away.
Mike McIntosh, the punt the football, averages just under 40 yards a punt. Gets it away.
Oh,
good
what a
spiraling kick. Dorsey lets it bounce, takes a bad roll, now kicks back the other way. Did it hit somebody? There was only one man back for Palm Springs, so the football was down, and they say it was down at the 21-yard line. Gorgeous punt by McIntosh.
He really turned that one over nicely. Tight spiral, just flew over Dorsey's head. Kevin Dorsey, not only is he back there to return punts, you'll see here as that punt sails over his head, he's going to try and put a few blocks on, get some kind of action going, and does a pretty good job there. Very physical player, Kevin Dorsey.
He caught the attention of Paul Hawkins. 1st and 10, ball on the Palm Springs 22-yard line, not 42. They are tied at 7 apiece, and there's motion on the left side, and it looks like Marvin Stanford, number 88, split out left on your screen, may have jumped. And we'll wait and see what the call is. Remember, in high school football, the defense cannot jump either and cross that line of scrimmage and go back.
Got a false start.
Goes against Palm Springs, so it will now be a 1st and 15 from their own 17-yard line. The Hemet cheerleaders have made the trip down. A lot of fans for Hemet High School have come down for this one on the far side. High formation, pitch off for Dorsey on this 1st and 15. Knocked down at the 20-yard line as he picks up just 3. Good pursuit that time by Wayne Stith, number 33. We are in Palm Springs, California. Bob Papa along with Glenn Blackwood. 1:29 to go in this first quarter. Palm Springs and Hemet are tied at 7 apiece. 2nd and 12 from the 20-yard line of Palm Springs. Hendricks looking, has his man, that's Keenal. Shakes a tackler and gets a first down. Danny Keenal with some gorgeous catches early on.
A good job by Keenal there, and a good throw by Bobby Hendricks. Reminds you a lot of the way the Seahawks used to sprint out Zorn and throw to Largent on real deep comeback patterns, and that's what Keenal's running, 10, 15, 18-yard patterns. And he does a nice job of getting some extra yardage, avoiding the tacklers and turning it up the field. Just a gamey player, Danny Keenal.
Ball at the 35-yard line. It's a young man who was in the hospital 2 days ago. Handoff goes to the deep back, Dorsey, and he gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that is it. Well, you get a look at the National League Championship Series. Cincinnati trying to wrap it up against the Pirates at Riverfront Stadium. Danny Jackson out-dueling Ted Power. Power a surprise starter for Zane Smith as Jim Leland and the Pirates tried to shake things up, but right now the Reds in front 2-1 in the 8th inning. The winner of that series goes on to take the Oakland A's in the World Series. The A's with their 3rd straight appearance, and we are appearing in Palm Springs, California. 2nd and 9 for Palm Springs. Reller splits out wide on the right side. Henrik, the quarterback, keeps it on the option. Gets up near the 44-yard line. He'll be short of a first down, but a good run that time by Bobby Hendrick as the final seconds of quarter number 1 tick away. Palm Springs and Hemet tied up at 7 apiece, and the gun sounds to end quarter number 1. We now pause for a regional break. Dame losing their number 1 ranking. We are in Palm Springs, California. Bob Papa along with Glenn Blackwood. We start quarter number 2. Palm Springs and Hemet are tied up at 7 apiece. Palm Springs faces a 3rd and 1 from their own 44-yard line. Get a look at the Hemet fans on the far sideline. They have really packed those seats over there. And right now, Chris Valdez splits out wide on the left side. Palm Springs in the black. Hemet is in the white. I formation. Brantley the up back. Dorsey the deep back. Here's Dorsey. Got the first down. Gorgeous move across the 50, to the 45, down to the 40. Broken down at the 36-yard line. A gorgeous run by Kevin Dorsey. He is having some night.
Well, I'll tell you what a great move. There's some things you cannot teach a kid. He just got them instinctively. Look at Kevin Dorsey as he sees the defender coming out of the left side of your screen right there and just has a move that you can't coach. Just slides to the left, makes a nice run, good quickness. He's a leader, 21-yard run. That's why he's a captain on that team. A lot of guys lead strictly by example, by the way they play on the field, and you can see that Kevin Dorsey's a captain because he's a football player. He gets out there and gets after it.
Does it in the classroom as well. 3.0 grade point average for Dorsey. 1st and 10 from the 36-yard line of Hemet. Dorsey again. More big yardage. He was hit hard. What a hit that time. Late on Dorsey after he picked up 10. Roy Clark was there to smack him, but another good run by Kevin Dorsey.
Tell you what, Kevin Dorsey just got a great knack as a running back for making people miss. Look at him as he cuts outside. The defender jumps out. He cuts under. 2 or 3 people miss him, and he just keeps fighting for extra yardage. Kevin Dorsey has been very impressive this football game. And he's coming off an ankle injury. They said, Coach Cheek said he was only 95% going into this game. I'd hate to see him if he's 100%.
Dorsey also runs track, and like a career in business. Let's see if he can add up enough for a first down. And he does make the first down, so another one for Palm Springs. Randy Brown with his bad back. He said, you know, if we put up some points, that back won't feel as bad, but right now he's just kind of limping around the sidelines. 1st and 10 for Palm Springs from the 26-yard line. On the delay, Dorsey again. Carrying 2 people. and brought down at about the 18-yard line. Brought down by Robert Delgado, but Kevin Dorsey, the senior running back, is having a field day right now.
Fine job by the offensive line. As you watch the left side block down, the right side pull. Number 61, Kelton Johnson, kicked out, and Kevin Dorsey followed him nicely, cuts up through the hole. And tell you what, he is, not only is he doing it himself and making people miss, but he's getting some great blocking up front by that offensive line.
Call it a gain of 8. Look at that. And this is with 10:34 to go in the second quarter. Dorsey has a touchdown reception. 2nd and 2 from the 18. Hendricks to throw. Looking and incomplete for Kinal. In fact, that one could have been intercepted as he threw it over Kinal's head. Not a bad passing situation there for Jerry Cheeks.
That was a good call. He'd been running the football real well. It was a 2nd and short, sort of a waste now. I'm sure he feels as well as they've been running the football that they shouldn't have a problem picking up the first down here. What Hemet has to do is they've really got to start playing well on the ends. Their inside, their interior 3 guys are good football players. That's the strength of their defense. They need to get the containment on the running backs from Palm Springs, push them back to the middle where their best players are.
Big 3rd and 2 from the 18-yard line of Hemet. Dorsey, the man in motion. Now we have a whistle. And let's see, that could be a delay of game.
That was a motion penalty on number 88, Marvin Stanford.
Trying to rally up that Bulldog sideline, and that is the call by referee George Kinder.
Now the gamble on 3rd and short didn't pay off, as now it'll put them in a 3rd and 7 or 8 situation.
Ball start. On the offense. Repeat 3rd down.
Jerry Cheek on the sidelines with Palm Springs, and now his club faces a 3rd and 7. They move the football back. Hendrick in trouble. Got a man. Incomplete. Intended for Reller. Check that Brantley, but good coverage that time by Jason Young as he was chasing Hendricks all over the yard.
Hendrick does a nice job of buying time on that play. Really bought himself a lot of time. The receiver did a good job coming back to the ball, but the defensive back was right there on top of it, and that's going to put them in a 4th and 7 situation.
Will they go for it, Glenn?
Well, it looks like they are. You're looking at a long field goal, and if they punt the ball, they're only going to gain 7 or 8 yards if it happened to go into the end zone. So you might as well just go ahead and go for it.
Ball is on the 23-yard line. That would be a 40-yard field goal. 3 receivers out on the right side. Dorsey, Reller, and Brantley. Hendrick to throw as Dorsey for the first down, still on his feet. And to the 4-yard line, Kevin Dorsey once again on a 4th down makes the big catch. He has the touchdown catch on the 4th and 6, and he comes up on the 4th and 7.
Well, they flooded the right side of the field to the wide side of the field with 3 wide receivers. There's only 2 defenders. One of the guys is going to be open. Dorsey says, "It's me." He sticks his hand up in the air, and Hendricks does a nice job of getting the ball to him, and then you see Dorsey just do the rest.
1st and goal from the 4-yard line of Hemet. We are tied up at 7. Dorsey with that bad ankle. 3 receivers out on the right side again. Hendrick keeps it. Good cut inside, and he gets down to about the 2-yard line. He is short of the goal line, and he was hit hard by Chacon and Mendez. Let's take a look at it again.
Bobby Hendricks is a tough quarterback. He runs well. Sometimes as a quarterback, you're going to have to take a few licks, and he takes a nice lick right there.
Robert Delgado, number 42, is the man who gave it to him.
Hey, but he's right back up on his feet and ready to get after it again.
There's Jeff Serby, number 91. He was ejected for smearing on Palm Springs' first possession. 2nd and goal from the 2. This game is tied at 7. Palm Springs looking to punch it in once again. And we have a whistle on the play with 9:02 to go in this first half.
Delay a game penalty.
Play the game on the offense. Repeat 2nd down.
Well, National Sportsmanship Day on October 18th. Be a sport. Catch the spirit of good sportsmanship on the National Federation Sportsman Day. October 18th.
Hey.
High schools across the country continue to join together in the quest for good sportsmanship and solid co-curricular activities. Second and goal from the 5. Hendrick swallowed up, but he shakes the tackler, throws in the end zone. Keenau's got it. Check that, Stanford, the tight end, number 88.
What a great job by Bobby Hendricks. That was an option play all the way. It wasn't a pass. They were trying to run the option, and he got bottled up and just keeps his feet, keeps fighting, scrambles around, and has the presence of mind to find Stanford in the end zone.
And Chapman's extra point is no good.
That can be a factor in a game as tight as this.
Palm Springs lead is 13-7. Hendrick fires his second touchdown pass of the night. Palm Springs up by 6. We'll be back on the National Federation High School Game of the Week.
There's
a back, and you see the running play coming toward you. You get aggressive, but Marlando Lewis didn't expect Bobby Hendricks to get out of it. And Marvin Stanford just stood in the end zone and gathered in the touchdown pass. Here's another look. Bobby Hendricks just does a great job of keeping his feet. The option shut down. Hemet does a great job. Just a little bit of bad luck as Hendricks does a great job of keeping his feet and just flips the ball to Stanford in the end zone.
Yeah, Jason Young, number 89, bounced right off of Hendrick. He was trying for the sack. Instead, it's a 7-yard touchdown pass, 6 yards. There you go, look at the scoring drive, 12 plays, 57 yards, 5 minutes and 22 seconds, but they missed the extra point. So it is 13-7 in favor of Palm Springs. On this very warm evening in the desert. 8:53 to go in this first half. Jared Chapman to kick the football off. Livingston back. Here is Sanchez, number 88. Takes it his own 20. Across the 25-yard line to the 30. There's a pile up there. And that's where first and 10 will be for Hemet. Palm Springs has scored on both of their possessions. 2 long drives. Hemet scored on their first. Stopped on their second. A.T. Page, number 3, the quarterback. Adrian Thomas is his name. Split back formation. Lewis and Vulak back there in a pro set. Page will throw. They set up the screen. Here's Lewis. Can't outrace the defense, and excellent pursuit that time by number 56, Nathan Greer.
A good job by Greer. Very, very deep dropping screen pass. As you saw Lewis run for about 10 or 15 yards, but he was so deep back in the backfield it ended up being about a 4-yard gain.
Second and long as the play is shuttled in on the far sideline. Jerry Cheek, head coach of Palm Springs, seeing if his defense can snuff out Hemet, who had a very good first possession. Statue of Liberty play. This is Lewis for a first down. Still on his feet. And across the 45-yard line, that semi-draw.
Marlando Lewis does a good job of running there. Get a look here at Marlando Lewis as he takes that little slide play here. It's that kind of like the 49ers run, that little inside wraparound draw play. Gets the linebackers dropping into their zones, and they don't see the ball handed off to Marlando Lewis, and he does a nice job of pushing it down the field. You know, Coach Randy Brown said yesterday that he really was the guy who originated that play, and Bill Walsh with the 49ers kind of stole it from him.
Page to throw, left side, incomplete. Intended for Livingston. They want to get the football in John Livingston's hand. Yeah, Coach Brown with his bad back was kind of kidding around.
Well, he said there's a lot of people that come down here and get my plays, and I don't get credit for them, but that's all right.
He comes from an extensive coaching family, does Coach Brown.
Yeah, he's got 2 brothers coaching with him here at Hemet. He's got 2 at Riverside City College and 1 at New Mexico. And his uncle, Dick Corey, is a coach for the Rams. Los Angeles Rams, that is.
2nd and 10, and as Page fires the football, there is a flag on the play. With the ball at the 47-yard line of Hemet. And motion the call. George Kinder with a sound effect for us. Motion against Hemet, so they'll march it 5 yards back. Ball will go back to the 42-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs of Hemet.
On the offense. Repeat 2nd down.
Palm Springs is wearing the black, Hemet the white. Palm Springs normally wears red, but they broke out the black jerseys for this evening's game. I formation, Page to throw, incomplete, nearly picked off, intended for Livingston. He was hit hard. Well, the NHL season has started rolling. And we have a hockey twin bill for you first. The Pittsburgh Penguins take on the New York Islanders. And then the Boston Bruins square off against the Los Angeles Kings in a big matchup between the Campbells and Wales Conference. You get a chance to see Wayne Gretzky and Ray Bourque. All that tomorrow night here on Sports Channel America, beginning at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 4:30 Pacific. Check your local listings for the NHL hockey doubleheader, live and exclusive on Sports Channel America. 7 minutes and 20 seconds to go in this first half. Hemet trails by 6, 13-7. They have the football on this 3rd and long. Lewis still on his feet as he gets to the 50 and inside Palm Springs territory, and he picked up about 10 on a play that looked like it would lose 1.
Good aggressive defense by Palm Springs, but Lewis just does a nice job of cutting up inside, keeping his balance, but it wasn't quite enough for the 1st down. And Coach Randy Brown will have his team punt.
Little shit on Johnny, did you see that?
Yeah, but 20's flying over there.
Nobody's on anything at all. Dorsey's coming.
Okay, then he's got 91, huh?
Yeah, that's what I meant when you said that.
Mike McIntosh to punt the football, and it's knocked away. Tough snap. There's a flag on the play. It's picked up by Palm Springs at the 35-yard line, and then dropped down was number 72. Steve Clanton picked it up, and let's see what the call is here.
Take that one, baby.
Well, you can see Coach Jerry Cheek is not happy with getting a penalty against himself. His team gets a nice opportunity to block a punt here. As you see, McIntosh just bobbled the punt just a little bit. The center was low. They get a piece of that football.
Andy Muir, number 66, deflected it.
But it will all go for naught, as Palm Springs will be penalized, a 15-yard penalty.
And there you get a look. The Cincinnati Reds have won the right to take on the Oakland A's for the 1990 World Series. The A's trying to win back-to-back. This is the first meeting between the A's and Reds in the World Series since way back in 1972, as Oakland won their first of 3. The Reds beat the Pirates in the National League playoffs 4-2. 1st and 10 for Hemet as they get the football back. Misdirection. Here's Lewis turning the corner and dragged out of bounds at the 25-yard line. But on that penalty, instead of Palm Springs getting the football, Hemet has it deep in Palm Springs territory, trailing by 6.
Tell you, Marlando Lewis, this play looks like it's going to be a broken play. No gainer because of the little kind of miscommunication in the backfield. But Marlando Lewis shows that even when you got a broken play, if you got a little bit of speed, you can turn it into a positive play, and that's what he did right there.
2nd and 1 from the 24. Lewis gets the 1st down, and he's dragged down at the 20-yard line.
There is some hard hitting going on out there. I can hear it all the way up here in the booth, and as we were talking yesterday with the coaches, both of them said it'll be a clean game, but it is going to be some hard hitting going on out there, and that's exactly what we're seeing.
Randy Brown, the head coach at Hemet. School opened in 1976. Enrollment of 2,400 students.
Yeah.
See him walking gingerly with that bad back. Slip disc. 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line of Palm Springs. Hemet with the football. They trail. 13-7, Josh Prickett, number 40, the fullback, gets a yard. And once again, Andy Murin, number 66, is on the bottom of the pile. And we heard about Murin for Palm Springs, and right now we have seen him play outstanding on that defensive line.
Well, he is a tough nose tackle. The guy knows is really he's just got to be a tough guy. He's in the middle of everything. He's getting hit every play. And this kid, Andy Murin, is a wrestler. He's very quick, and Coach Cheek says he just has a nose for the football.
Timing pattern left side, and it's complete to Livingston at the 2. So John Livingston, the outstanding split end, comes up with the catch on a gorgeous pass from A.T. Page. First and goal from the 2-yard line for Hemet.
Coach Randy Brown takes advantage of the safety, gambling a little bit on the running plays. Here he's supposed to be giving help to the cornerback and just gets there just a little late. And nice concentration by John Livingston as he hauls in. It's just a little quick fade pass against man-to-man defense. It can work and work quite well, and it did there.
Full formation in the backfield. Lewis fumbles it. Palm Springs has it, it appears. Oh, and that would be crippling.
And it is Palm Springs football.
Lewis never had it.
Key turnover right there when you've got a football team that's, big game like this, big intense rivalry, and you move the ball that well down the field. Kelton Johnson, number 61, comes up with a football, and that is just real demoralizing. Let's see if we can see what happens here. Never got the handoff. Orlando Lewis, the ball is handed in to him by Page, just never gets grasp of the football, and Palm Springs comes up with a turnover.
On a first and goal from the Palm Springs 2, they cough it up. And the Indians with the football. First and 10, a 13-7 lead. Dorsey tripped up, and a very nice tackle that time by number 8, Roy Clark. 4:14 to go in this first half. Palm Springs in front, 7-3.
Good job by Roy Clark that time of containing Kevin Dorsey, getting up the field, not letting him bounce outside. If they can funnel everything back into their inside football players, those inside guys, Maurice Chacon and Brian Galnick, John Fisher, that interior line for Hemet is a good, solid group of players, and if they can funnel those running backs back to them, then they've got a chance to stop this running game.
Second and a long 10 from the Palm Springs 2. Hendrick rolling out. He gets away from that inside pressure, fires it. And let's see, was it a good catch by number 88, Mike Stanford? And no, knocked away. Hard to see on that far side.
It's a good job by the defensive back. He stayed with Stanford all the way. You'll see Hendricks throws a nice pass. He does a great job of throwing on the run. Puts it way outside. Stanford goes up. But there you see Marlando Lewis contesting him for the ball, and he comes down out of bounds. The question there is, would he have been able to come down in bounds had not Lewis hit him? And with his momentum going down, the ref decided no, he wouldn't have been able to.
Big 3rd and 10 for Palm Springs. On the draw, Dorsey gets nothing. And he is wrapped up by Robert Delgado. And now Palm Springs will have to punt the football.
Impressive series by the Hemet defense there. When your offense drives down the field, is going in for a touchdown, and gets a big turnover against them, sometimes can be very demoralizing, but Hemet came out of it nicely.
Big punt coming up for Palm Springs. They lead it by 6. You're watching the National Federation High School Game of the Week on Sports Channel America. We welcome you back to Palm Springs, California. Bob Papa along with Glenn Blackwood. Glad you can join us on the National Federation High School Game of the Week. 3:18 to go in this first half. Palm Springs leads Hemet by a score of 13-7. Palm Springs will have a 4th and 11 from their own 3-yard line, and they will be punting the football away. Hemet on a long drive just now had a golden opportunity and fumbled at the 2, but their defense comes up big.
Important right here that the punter be a good yard in front of that back line, so in case there is a bad snap, he doesn't step out of the end zone line and get a safety. You can bet Hemet's going to put a little bit of heat on him right here. See if they can cause a bad punt.
Jared Chapman is the punter. Snapper was Murin. Good snap and kick. Livingston will take it at the 39. Has some room and some speed. And he's knocked out of bounds at the 23-yard line with 3:06 to go. Hemet with excellent field position.
Great field position set up by a great series by their defense. They took the Palm Springs offense and let them not get 1 yard
Put this over there.
on their drive, and that kept them backed up in the end zone. No matter what happened, they were going to get good field position. Here you get a look at John Livingston. Puts a nice move on the punt return. Gets the ball up the sideline, puts them at the 23-yard line. Oh.
And a pass on the right side, and Delgado was not looking by A.T. Page on a 1st and 10.
Might be a little sign of what happens if with Jeff Kirby out of the game.
50, fullback screen left.
Fullback screen left is Vulak, who has a touchdown run for Hemet. Runs in the play.
They're going to send Marlando Lewis and Livingston and Sanchez out into the pattern. Are they going to put Marlando Lewis at fullback and try and get the ball to him?
2nd and 10. They set it up left. Here's Lewis, but there's a man right there. Brantley, he shakes Brantley and gets across the line of scrimmage, still on his feet. And he bounces down to the 15-yard line, and once again Lewis makes something out of nothing.
It looked like he was going to be stopped for no gain at very best. Marlando Lewis, they switch him to the fullback position, and it is the fullback screen to the left. Looks like he's going to be stopped for no gain, but does a nice job of avoiding tackles. And look at him slither through this pile of defenders. Good job by Marlando Lewis. He hurt Coach Cheek and the Palm Springs football team last year.
Timeout on the field, 2:36 to go. Hemet trying to even things up, maybe take the lead. We'll be back to Palm Springs, California after this timeout on Sports Channel America. Part of the school spirit here in Palm Springs, California. Hemet High School cheerleader Kristen Arnold says she wants to be a teacher someday. Well, she's got the credentials right now, 3.85 grade point average, like a sociology or psychology major. She says she's learned to work with other people as being a cheerleader, working with a large group and organizing. And right now she is keeping the spirit going for Hemet on the far sideline. 3rd down and 3 from the 16, and a flag on the play.
That's that goose play
Page
again.
Keeps it, yeah.
Yeah, it just went up goose to center.
But there's a flag, and a little too quick that time.
Well, it'd be hard for me to see that. Let's see what like an illegal.
On the offense. Repeat 3rd.
I guess there could have been somebody moving in the backfield when he took that
90
snap.
toss pop. Cal Roberts to take the same release.
Okay. On the play we saw earlier in the game that was completed to Jeff Kirby, who's now out of the game, ejected from the game. The running back was not set when he went up and goosed to center. Look for the tight end here.
3rd and 8.
There he is.
There's Delgado, and he drops it.
Well, I'll tell you what, Randy Brown was right on with that call. Fake the toss. They've run it a couple of times this game, and
Right in.
A.T. Page puts it right on the money, but
Field goal.
Well, now they'll go for the field
Field
goal on this
goal.
4th and 8.
Field goal.
They're trying to get their field goal
got
unit
it.
on.
No, Roy's in.
Ball will be spotted at the
But it's- are you on?
29-yard line. There's a 39-yard field goal.
Chisengram definitely has a leg to get it there. He's kicked a 42-yarder already this year.
High
Bad
snap. Chisengram has it. First year playing football. He's a soccer player. Welcome to the football field, says Kevin Dorsey. So Hemet with 2 opportunities late here in the 2nd quarter, and they can't get any points out of it.
Just 2 tough series for him. The snap's just way too high. You can see it sail over the head, and Chisengram picks up the football, and looked like a face mask call there. The ref reached for his flag, but he didn't call it.
Yeah, the holder, Jason Watson, never had a chance. So Hemet, who had a 4-minute drive and fumbled at the 2-yard line of Palm Springs, and they get the football back at the 23. and can't punch it in for a score, and they still trail by 6.
Well, you know, you got to feel that Hemet is really wishing that they'd had an opportunity. That's 2 scoring opportunities that they've missed.
Well, we'll take a breather next week, but the National Federation High School Game of the Week resumes in 2 weeks as our lights and cameras move to Cincinnati, Ohio. The Princeton Vikings challenge the Moeller Fighting Crusaders. Moeller with that great tradition. It's the High School Game of the Week, Friday, October 26th at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, live on Sports Channel America. Check your local listings. We'll scoot on into Cincinnati. Right now we're in Palm Springs, California. 2:14 to go in this first half. Palm Springs up 13-7. But how demoralizing is this for Hemet with 2 opportunities late here in the first half?
You know, it's very demoralizing. Anytime you're playing a team that's comes in and is more physical, bigger than you, you've got to take every opportunity you can and capitalize on it. Not only did they miss 1 opportunity, a grand opportunity with 1st and 3 at the 3 going in, then after they miss that, their defense holds, they get the ball back and not only drop a touchdown pass, but the field goal is an errant snap on it, and it's just got to really be tough on them right now.
Boy, Chapman's getting his running in, trying to get in the proper position, and now a flag flies and a delay of game. And Bobby Hendrick, the senior quarterback of Palm Springs, are not happy, and Jerry Cheek, the head coach, will walk out, and they'll march off 5 yards against the Indians.
Well, I believe he called timeout in time. Bobby Hendrick called timeout, so it shouldn't be a penalty.
You see all these students participating out on the field tonight, part of the co-curricular activities, and the Iowa study has shown some of those numbers. Students not participating in co-curricular activities, 2.39 grade point average. If you're in one sport, 2.61. And the Iowa High School Athletic Association says 2 sport students, 2.82 grade point average as part of the co-curricular activities at a high school.
Quite a difference.
For non-participant students, 2.48. Those involved, 3.32. As you get a look at part of the crowd, we are situated right smack in the middle of the desert, Palm Springs, California, with the mountains overlooking. And right now, Bobby Hendrick sees a 1st and 10 for his club at their own 41-yard line. They lead it 13-7 as Palm Springs. Hemet is in the white. They give it off on the left side, the end around, and Stanford picks up about 8 as he's dropped down at the 49-yard line. They faked it to Dorsey. The tight end Marvin Stanford took it and ran it.
Interesting call there by Jerry Cheek, a little tight end reverse. You fake the play going to the right and have your tight end cut inside coming back to the left. Picks up a nice gain.
2nd and about 2. Time remaining in the first half, 1:43 and moving. Valdez out on the left side, backfield in an I formation. Hendrick looking to throw. Boy, he can shake pressure, can't he? He's getting his running in. Is that Frank Tarkington? Knocked out at the 46-yard line. Boy, I tell you what, Bobby Hendrick almost ran out the clock.
I'll tell you what, he is a gamer. He gets out there and just he never gives up. He's got good quicks. He runs a 10-100. He's a real leader out there. He's done a good job for him.
He's a salesman at Foot Locker. He was burning those feet right there. The clock continues to move. 3rd and 6 from the 46-yard line of Palm Springs. They lead at 13-7. More traditional play. Here's Dorsey. First down. Inside the Hemet side of the field, down to the 46-yard line. Nice run that time by Dorsey. He gets his 10 yards.
Get a look here, just straight base blocking from the I formation. Nothing fancy about it. It's just man on man. Let's see who can win. And see, there's a Roy Calderon, number 27, was right in the hole, but Dorsey again does a nice job of avoiding the tackler. Gets up into the secondary for a nice gain.
1st and 10, only 25 seconds to go. They set up the screen for Stanford. Shakes one tackler. Good pursuit from behind, though, to drag him down after it could have been a very big gain. And a good job by Craig Sealgian, number 43, to drag down Stanford with 15 seconds to go in the first half.
That was a nice play set up by Palm Springs. A little tight end screen back away from the rollout. They've been running the rollout all game long and throwing the out pattern. Now they set up a tight end screen. Nicely done. Stanford avoids a blocker. As you can see, Sealgian was not fooled by it. Number 43, the defensive player for Hemet, Coach Randy Brown said of him that he's just a guy who never makes mistakes, makes a lot of plays. See if we can hear Randy Brown talking to his football team during this timeout. He gingerly walks around with a slip disc in his back.
Well, back has to hurt a little bit more after fumbling on a 1st and goal at the 3. And then not getting a field goal attempt off.
Well, he's got to go into this locker room feeling like he should be up 14 to 13 right now. So that's not the case.
2nd and the long 2 for Palm Springs, with the ball at the 38-yard line of Hemet.
Well, there's 15 seconds left. With the ball at the 38, it's a little bit out of field goal range. I would expect you're going to see Bobby Hendricks roll out, some sort of rollout where he has the option of throwing or running. See if they can get 15, 16 yards down the field, call a timeout, kick a field goal.
15 seconds to go in the half. Hendrick batted at the line of scrimmage and nearly intercepted. Not sure who got his hand on it. Might have been Jason Young, number 89.
Good job by the defensive lineman. A lot of times on a sprint out, you're not going to be able to get a good push up the field, get a good pass rush, because they're blocking down on you so much. And you keep your vision as a defensive lineman, stick your hands up in the air. Exactly what happened that time. The ball got batted up in the air and almost intercepted.
10 seconds to go in the first half. Palm Springs by 6. Hendrick trying for some more. Intercepted. Josh Prickett. Boy, he just looked like he wanted to run somebody over. No fakes there. Josh Prickett comes up with the interception with 2 seconds to go in the first half.
Another time they were trying to go to Danny Kinau, and Josh Prickett just would not be looked off, sat right in the passing lane. You'll see Prickett. He's a linebacker. He just slides over and gets right in the passing lane. You'll see Kinau. That's who they're throwing to. But Prickett gets in the passing lane, makes a nice interception, and then decides to try and run over whoever's in his way.
Well, that is the final play of the first half. The teams head to the locker room. Palm Springs leads Hemet by a score of 13-7. We now pause for a regional break. You're watching the National Federation High School Game of the Week on Sports Channel America. And we welcome you back to Palm Springs, California. At halftime, Palm Springs leads Hemet by a score of 13-7. And right now, the Palm Springs High School Spirit of the Sands marching band is on the field with their director, Jim Johnson. 100 band members, 18 flag corps members, and there's a dance team of 10 as well. Sit back and enjoy the Palm Springs band as they play Make His Praise Glorious. Palm Springs High School Band was invited to perform at the Fiesta Bowl Parade in Tempe, Arizona back last December. And they'll perform their second selection with You on Born Again, the Palm Springs High School Spirit of the Sands Marching Band. Part of the pageantry of high school football, the Palm Springs High School Marching Band. We'll see the Hemet Band and more of the halftime show after this time out on Sports Channel America. And we welcome you back to Palm Springs, California. Bob Papa along with Glenn Blackwood. This is the National Federation High School Game of the Week. At halftime, Palm Springs leads Hemet 7-3. The Hemet High School Marching Bulldog Band is on the field with their band director, Jeff Tower, assistant Ken Biskey, drum major Tracy East, 240 band members. A well-recognized band across the country. They're playing the Tennessee River as they make their way on the field. 1985 official Aloha Bowl band. They played in Honolulu. For 3 decades, they have achieved excellence, the Hemet High School Band. This year, they were the guest group of the Osaka, Japan Brass Festival. They've recorded 6 different albums. Sit back and enjoy the Hemet Band. And their first selection will be Nearer My God to Thee. In fact, their last album was on a compact disc. Next up, Cotton Fields Back Home by the Hemet High School Marching Bulldog Band. And the halftime show here on the National Federation High School Game of the Week is brought to you by Gatorade Thirst Quencher. Gatorade for that deep down body thirst. And one more number from the Hemet High School Marching Bulldog Band. Coming around the mountain. In the last 15 years, they have won 13 sweepstakes. Let's listen in.
What's Dorsey's catch? Isn't that the touchdown? High School Band. We now pause for a regional break. Welcome back to Palm Springs, California. Palm Springs leads Hemet 13-7 at the half. The world of interscholastic athletics lost one of its leaders when Tom Frederick passed away this past Tuesday. Frederick, who served the National Federation of State High School Association Associate Director from 1977 through 1989. He was on the National Federation staff for 22 years. We here at Sports Channel America send our condolences to the family of Tom Frederick, who retired from the National Federation in 1989. He will be missed by those in the athletic community and those who knew him. The 11th observance of the National High School Activities Week is just around the corner. October 14th through the 21st. Activities Week was developed by the National Federation to increase the public's awareness of the values and needs of activity programs. Now, during this special time, the nation's high schools are encouraged to promote the values inherent in high school athletics and other activities such as speech, music, drama, band, and spirit squads. You've also heard us refer to the National Federation program, the Walt Disney World National Dreamers and Doers program, which recognizes young people for their participation in interscholastic activity programs. The state winners work with their state association representatives during Activities Week and throughout the year, serving as a spokesperson promoting interscholastic activities. At the Dreamers and Doers Awards ceremony, which was held in August in Orlando, Florida, several of the state Dreamers and Doers and their state association representatives talked about the importance of activity programs. Let's listen right now to some of their thoughts on the subject.
Imagine a submarine sandwich with just bread. That's what school would be like if there were no activities, there were no sports, there were no clubs. Yes, you'd have the essential basis, but you wouldn't have any special enjoyment. You would, one enjoys school and one can enjoy bread, but you can't, there's so much more that can be offered when there are activities, because people can find their talents, people can find their corner of the sky.
The activities that I'm involved in, I learn how to work well with other people. I learn more about life itself.
We believe that you can probably teach young people more about life on a lonely bus ride home from the neighboring town after a heart-rending defeat than you can perhaps in anything else that that youngster may have done throughout that entire day in school.
Participating in
interscholastic activities like sports is very important because you learn something which is different from the regular in-school, in-classroom type of activity. You learn that everyone fails at least once in their life, and you can't just stop when you fail. You must always strive and continue.
When we talk about the values of activities, we can't talk about them without including the academics. I think that one of the things that we find, the old cliche is that if you want something done, give it to a busy person. And I think that happens in activities and the academic world. When kids are involved, they do better in both programs.
A high school without activities would be pretty grim. I would not want to be in a high school that didn't have activities.
In the classroom, it's more of an individual experience, where with interscholastic activities, you have to learn to work with a team and as a team unit instead of just the individual.
Interscholastic sports and activities for me has built character. You learn to work with a team towards a common goal. You fall a lot. As long as you keep getting up with the idea that you're not going to fall because you know you can get up, but the idea that if you walk a couple steps and you fall, that's okay. It builds your character. It gives you a broader base. It makes you a well-rounded person. Any activity you can get into, even if you're not sure what it's about, what it's going to take you, get into it. Check it out. You know, anything.
And the teams are back on the field. We have halftime highlights and more from Palm Springs after this timeout on Sports Channel America.
Vegas.
Welcome back to Palm Springs, California at halftime. Palm Springs leads Hemet by a score of 13-7. Bob Papa along with Glenn Blackwood. Glad you can join us on a National Federation High School game of the week. And Glenn, in that first half, some missed opportunities from Hemet. They had a chance to punch it in, maybe get the tie. Both teams looking pretty effective.
Well, they both came out with good scoring drives right off the start. And they were moving the ball very conservatively. Nice little mix of run and pass. And here you'll see Hemet as they pop it in from 23 yards out as Vulak goes through a gaping hole on the right side. That was their very first possession and was a big play for them.
It was a 64-yard drive. Then on a 4th and goal from the 6, Dorsey with the catch from Hendricks.
Well, a little sidearm pass from Hendricks into Kevin Dorsey. It was a gamble on Coach Cheek's part, but it paid off for him.
Well, Dorsey came up with another catch later on in this game, this one in the second quarter.
Well, that was on another third down situation, and they just flooded the field. Dorsey came up with a big catch, kept the drive alive, gave him an opportunity to punch it into the end zone again.
Well, it was a 6-yard touchdown pass. The tight end Marvin Stanford off the scramble from Hendricks, able to haul it in from 6.
This is all Hendricks. He just does a great job keeping his feet, buys time. Wasn't a pass play to start with, but it ends up with 7 points.
Well, they missed the extra point, made it 13-7. Now watch John Livingston of Hemet. What a catch here.
Well, a great catch by a great player. They want to try and get the ball to him. He's being doubled all over the field. And but they want to try and get the ball to him some more.
Then the last play of the first half, and Hendrick picked off by Josh Prickett.
Well, that was just a play to thwart the original drive. I tell you, the big problem right now for Hemet was the turnover when they were going in for the touchdown. They'd like to be and feel like they should be 14-13 right now.
Well, there's a look at some of the statistics here in this first half of play. First downs, Palm Springs with 14 first downs in the first half. 113 yards rushing, 82 passing, over 100 yards in favor for Palm Springs, but really they only lead by 6. You look at the time of possession and penalties, you know, they have 102 more yards offensively, but once again, the bottom line is they only have a 6-point lead, and they missed an extra point, which could be key. Both teams are on the field, and we are ready for quarter number 3, and the second half. Hemet is wearing the white, Palm Springs in the black. Hemet will kick the football away. Sonogram, number 10, will kick it off. Dorsey, number 4, is back deep. This one instead goes for Stanford. Across the 30-yard line, and he's brought down at the 31. So Marvin Stanford with a good run that time, and Palm Springs will take over 1st and 10. Glenn, it should be interesting to see what happens here early on, because near the end of that first half, Hemet fumbled on a 3rd and goal from the 3, and then when they had a 1st and 10 from the 23 in the waning minutes, they failed to even get 3 on a bad snap.
Well, both of the teams have had some success moving the football. What Hemet needs to do is keep everything inside and not let the running backs get outside. That's what hurt them in the first half.
Hand off to Brantley, and he slashes forward for 1, maybe 2. The quarterback is Bobby Hendrick as we start quarter number 3. Palm Springs in the black leads Hemet 13-7. Shuttling into play right now, number 2 is Frank Reller. Going out, number 81, Chris Valdez will set up the backfield for you. Hendrick is the quarterback. He wears number 5. Frank Reller will be one of the wide receivers. He wears number 2. Also split out on the left side, Dan Quinow. He is number 20, and number 4, Kevin Dorsey. Lone setback is Brantley. Brantley takes the football to the 35, 40, first down, up to midfield, inside Hemet territory, down at the 45-yard line. There is a flag on the play.
A great run on that play by Brantley, but it's all going to be called back for a blocking in the back or a clipping call. As you see, number 56, Nathan Greer, down for Palm Springs High School. He's their starting left tackle. Also has made numerous plays on defense, and it would be a blow to Palm Springs to lose him.
Nathan Greer, 3.0 grade point average. Looks like a cramp.
I picked up or heard somebody say a cramp, so we hope that's what it is. Let's see if we can get a look. As you see Greer come in, leads the block, and you don't really see any real tension on the knee, so hopefully that's what it was just a cramp, and he runs off the field. That's good news.
Greer, 3.0 grade point average. Lawrence Taylor, Mike Singletary, and Ronnie Lotter, his favorite football players. Lawrence Taylor is his favorite football player, but Mike Tyson is his role model. The former heavyweight champion of the world.
Tell you what, he's thrown some knockout punches tonight, though. Nathan Greer, he's a two-way starter, plays defensively also.
What a big penalty on Palm Springs. Instead of having the ball at the 46-yard line of Hemet, they march the football back to the Palm Springs 21, and they have a 2nd and 20. 3 wide receivers out on the right side. Lone setback is Brantley. Hendrick tries to get it off of Brantley on a screen, but great pressure that time by Jason Young, number 89.
I look for them to come back with that same set. Kevin Dorsey, they had a flood formation, 3 wide receivers out to the right side. There was only 2 defenders over there. There was nobody over Dorsey. He was standing there all by himself. Let's see if Coach Cheek comes back with that same formation to see if Hemet adjusts to it. If they don't, they may try and pop it to Dorsey real quick and let him run with the football.
Reller splits out wide on the right side as Coach Cheek looks over his offense. They face a 3rd and 20 from their own 22-yard line. Hendrick to throw again, feels the pressure. He's got quick feet, but not this time. Craig Silgian, number 43, chased him down along with Jason Young.
See a little head button going on there as Hemet's trying to get fired up. Big series right there coming out in the first half, or second half, after a disheartening first half with missed opportunities and turnovers. The Hemet defense comes out, shuts them down right off the bat, gets the ball for their offense.
Chapman to punt the football, gets it away, kicks it away from Livingston because he has outstanding speed. Livingston will chase it down and pick it up at his own 30, and that's where Hemet will have the football. He fumbled it on the play, but Hemet recovers it at the 30-yard line, so an outstanding punt that time on a great roll by Chapman.
It was a good punt, but the roll was what was great for Palm Springs. As you see Livingston look around, you got to make a decision, either pick it up or go with it. They're fortunate, Hemet's fortunate there that they came up with a football.
49-yard punt that time by Chapman with the roll. Hemet with the football as you get a look at John Livingston, number 81, the outstanding receiver for Hemet. Their quarterback is A.T. Page. Sanchez, the man in motion. Inside handoff, and nothing doing that time for Boo Lock, and Randy Brown talking with his defensive unit.
We work too damn hard to let this stay away. We gotta go get it. Nowhere. Get it in here.
It's John Brown, the defensive coordinator. That's Randy's brother.
You see him encouraging his players. He's really happy with the way they performed that last series.
Lack and Lewis in the backfield. Lack wears 11, Lewis number 1. Sanchez in motion. Page in trouble. Wow. Good pursuit that time. And the sack, and Andy Murin, number 66, is there once again.
Andy Murin came in and cleaned up, but Edmund Woodson, number 33, he's coming in from his defensive end, really kind of a cross between a defensive end outside linebacker, and he really forced the play, and Murin capitalized as Woodson had A.T. Page in trouble, and that causes them to have put them in a 3rd and about a half a mile.
3rd and 18 from the 21-yard line. Page trying to buy some time, just tucks it away and gets about 3 or 4. So the defense is now tightening up. In the first quarter, both teams scored touchdowns on their first possession. Here to start the second half, both teams have been forced to punt.
Well, a lot of times you'll see that happen in a football game, where a defense starts getting a feel for what the offense is doing. That's important now that the offense goes over the sideline and it can adjust some, come up with a few more new plays, and try and catch the defense off balance. Once the defense gets in the groove and gets comfortable, a lot of times you'll see them start shutting down the offense.
McIntosh boots it, another good kick. Dorsey fumbles it at his own 40. Sheds some tacklers, gets to the 49-yard line, and that's where he's dragged down just shy of the 50. So that's where Palm Springs takes first and 10. They lead it by 6. We'll be back to Palm Springs, California after this timeout.
There's a line.
Lots of concern here in Palm Springs, California. Kevin Dorsey, the outstanding running back for Palm Springs, is down and hurt on the football field following that punt return.
You get a look at Kevin Dorsey. One of the things as a punt returner you always want to do is position your body in front of the football, just like Kevin Dorsey did right there. The reason, if you drop the ball, it goes right down in front of you. You can pick it up, and you don't have a chance of losing the football. That's what Kevin Dorsey did. Let's see if at the end of this play we can get a look at what injured Kevin Dorsey.
Well, Dorsey had a bad ankle coming in. Let's get another look at it.
There's another look. A host of Hemet players come in to tackle Dorsey. Can't really see right there. As Bob said, he did have an ankle problem coming into the game, and we just hope that he's going to be okay.
Kevin Dorsey, who has a touchdown catch tonight and has run all over the Hemet defense, is limping to the sideline, being helped off. I hope Kevin is okay.
He's gingerly walking on that ankle. I would assume he twisted it a little bit more and it's re-injured.
1st and 10 from the 48-yard line. And Dorsey's replacement not able to get much running room there. That was number 45. Jared Chapman. There's Dorsey on the sideline.
Looks like they're working on his knee and ankle.
Well, Dorsey had such a major role in the offense. Let's see now if they maybe try to get it over to Danny Kinal, number 20, a bit more. 2nd and 11. Brantley hit down hard by Roy Clark, but not after he gets to the 46-yard line, and they're working on the hand of Kevin Dorsey. The thumb area. They're putting some ice on it.
Tell you what, as much as he's carried the ball all night, they might have ice on several portions of him. Anytime you carry the ball that much, you're going to have some aches and pains. Just hope that his ankle or whatever it was that was causing him to limp off the field is okay.
3rd and 4 for Bobby Hendrick in Palm Springs from the 46-yard line of Hemet. Palm Springs in front, 13-7. Brantley, he's got the first down and more. Good open field tackle, though, and he's dragged down. Could have been a bigger game, but Marlando Lewis, number 1, made a great tackle.
Tell you, nicely executed option play there. But one of the keys to that, we talked about Danny Keenal, number 20, coming into the game and how he was a great player, good receiver. He really made the block that sealed the cornerback inside and helped Brantley get up the sideline for a first down. There's Danny Keenal.
He is split out wide on the left side. Time remaining in quarter number 3. And it looks like motion by Maurice Chacon, number 74, for Hemet.
Once you step into that neutral zone in high school, there's no going back. That's a 5-yard penalty. Now only Hemet can only hope that one of the offensive linemen moved and drew him off sides. That doesn't appear to be the case.
So they'll tack on 5 more yards, and now it'll be a first down and 5. Ball at the 33-yard line of Hemet. Palm Springs in front, 13-7. They have the football playing on their home field. Their quarterback is Bobby Hendrick. I formation, receivers split out both on the right and left. Brantley, Mike Brantley, he's got the first down. He's still on his feet near the 20-yard line. Gain of 12 for Mike Brantley. Tell you, no matter who they stick in there at the tailback, that offensive line, tip your caps to them.
Well, they're doing a great job. Gerald Cheek said, we've got to block well at the point of attack. Look at your lineman in the screen, number 61, Kelton Johnson. That's the point of attack, right there in the gut of the line. They do a great job in opening up the hole. Only a fine tackle by Roy Clark saved that from being a touchdown.
Wow, Roy Clark, number 88 for Hemet, is really a hitter. Here's Brantley on a 1st and 10 from the 22-yard line, gets 3, maybe 4 yards on the carry. Well, this Monday night here on Sports Channel America, it's the Sports Cream Pro Boxing Tour, and we bring you part of our Great Fight Series. You will see Sugar Ray Leonard against Thomas Hitman Hearns, their first meeting back in 1981. Monday night, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific. Live and exclusive on Sports Channel America. I had a chance to work that show, and let me tell you, that is a fight worth watching again. Leonard Hearns, number 1, back in 1981. 2nd down and about 6 for Palm Springs, deep in Hemet territory. Here's Brantley slashing through. Here's near a first down, but the ball is loose, and it's picked up by Hemet. Josh Prickett. He may have saved the day by picking up that fumble and returning it to the 25-yard line.
Well, a little bit back for Hemet. They had lost a big turnover in the first half. Now they get a little bit coming back for him. As you get a look at Mike Brantley, number 3, gets a nice seam up inside. Good blocking. You can see right as he's going down, he loses control of the football. Josh Prickett's in the right place at the right time.
Hemet dodges a bullet. They'll try to shoot one of their own after this timeout on Sports Channel America.
I was hanging around.
Let's listen to Palm Springs head coach Jerry Cheek. See what's going on that sideline. Well, we're having some technical problems with the audio, but Jerry Cheek's team was moving downfield, 13-7 lead, but Brantley coughed it up. And Josh Prickett, the man to scoop up that fumble. He has an interception and a fumble, does Josh Prickett.
That's a big series for Hemet here. They got a little blood, a little life breathed back into them with a fumble recovery and return. See if they can make something out of it.
1st and 10 from their own 25-yard line. Here's Lewis. Wow, he is driven back. That is a hit.
Oh.
Wow. Edmund Woodson, number 33, plastered him.
I'll tell you what, there is some hard hitting in this football game. No doubt about it. You see Edmund Woodson. Marlando Lewis cuts up inside. A lot of traffic in there, and pow! Look at those defensive players come flying in. See Woodson and
Roman Pelham, number 58.
Pelham is a big hitter.
Well, he says Jack Lambert and Jim Brown are his favorite football players, and he stopped that one short. Gain of only 3. Lewis hammered again. Maybe he gets 1, and Marlando Lewis is earning his yardage the hard way.
And you get a look at Marlando Lewis. He's averaged a little over 5 yards a carry. There's Josh Prickett. He's also the fullback. He's in there doing a good job of blocking right now, but he's come up with some big plays on defense. An interception, a fumble recovery that got them the football and stalled the drive for Palm Springs.
Page to throw, incomplete. Looking for Sanchez on that 3rd and 5, and 3 and out for Hemet. Good job by the Palm Springs defense there, Glenn.
Well, they did a good job. They rose to the occasion after the big turnover.
3 minutes and 5 seconds to go in this 3rd quarter.
Both of the defenses seem to be settling down and seem to have a real good gauge on what the other offense is trying to get done.
Well, with Dorsey injured, Danny Quinal, number 20, is back deep to receive the punt from Mike McIntosh. McIntosh had 1 block, but there was a penalty on Palm Springs earlier on.
I'll tell you what, that's going from the frying pan into the fire with putting Quinal back there. As much talent as this young man has.
Quinal, involved in a head-on auto accident 2 weeks ago, was in the hospital, but he's on the field tonight, and he takes the punt at his own 26. Good coverage, though, by Hemet. And I tell you what, number 25, Paul Hawkins, is down there to cover it.
Hey, excellent coverage that time by the Hemet punt team. That was a long punt, and they were down there flying down there. There's 5 or 6 people. Juicy Canal, he just never has a chance to get anything going. There's several Hemet players that come flying in, and
Paul Hawkins wraps him up, puts him away. They will spot it at the 30-yard line. 2 receivers split out wide on the right side for Palm Springs. Chris Valdez and number 20, Danny Quinal. Quinal plays defense, offense, returns kicks. The fullback right now is number 45, Sean Lopez. Brantley in a slot on the right side. 1st and 10 for Palm Springs. They lead it 13-7. About 2.5 to go, 3rd quarter. Lopez still on his feet. Finally gang tackle, but an 8-yard gain for Sean Lopez, number 45. He is a sophomore.
Sean Lopez says, give me an opportunity to carry the football. He did not want to go down. Good hard running.
And that is a gain of close to 9. 2nd and short. Get a look at the crowd on hand here in Palm Springs, California. Bob Papa along with Glenn Blackwood. Glad you can join us in our National Federation High School Game of the Week. Palm Springs in the dark jerseys, Hemet in the white. Palm Springs with a 2nd and 1. Lopez enough for a 1st down as he slashes across the 40-yard line. And right now, after some fireworks to start this one, the defenses have taken over, Glenn.
He's gotten a little more conservative. I think you're seeing Coach Cheek just want to try and take advantage of his big offensive line, run the football, control the football, and eat up the clock. He's got a 13-7 lead. Does not want a turnover.
Quinal is a receiver out of your picture to the right of your screen. He split out wide left. Valdez on the right side.
There it is.
Fumble, and it's recovered by Young. Hendrick never had the snap. There's the big break for Hemet.
Just exactly what Coach Jerry Cheek did not want was a turnover. He's doing a good job of controlling the ball via the running game, but a mishandling on the quarterback center exchange, and that results in a big turnover for Hemet. It's got to breathe a lot of life into them. You see the ball just never gets into Hendrick's hand and pops out and just takes a Hemet bounce.
Yeah, junior Jason Young with the fumble recovery. Nice play. 1st and 10 for the Palm Springs 39-yard line, and they fumble it. But the ball is loose, and there's a flag on the play off the misdirection. let's see what referee George Kinder has here.
Well, the whistle was blowing before the play ever got started, so the play will never count. It will be looks like a procedure penalty against Hemet.
Well, it's time for Hemet now to start capitalizing. They had a 1st and goal from the 3 in the second quarter. Then they had a 1st and 10 from the Palm Springs 23, and they got no points out of those 2 possessions. They lose 5 here, and now it's 1st and 15 from the 44-yard line of Palm Springs. Livingston out wide on the left. Palm Springs has done a good job against him, but they'll find him here, and he's got it. He picks up 5, maybe 5. Good coverage.
Well, again, you're seeing that double coverage by Palm Springs. They're using Bobby Hendricks to come up and really jam John Livingston.
And a holding call.
Well, that's a tough call there. And Hemet has an opportunity. They get the turnover. And 2 penalties in a row, and it puts them in a tough position. First and 25.
Jerry Cheek walking the sidelines. We're in Palm Springs, California. This is the National Federation High School Game of the Week. Bob Papa along with Glenn Blackwood. 1 minute and 10 seconds to go in this 3rd quarter. Ralph Watts Stadium in Palm Springs. Right out in the middle of the desert. A holding penalty on Hemet.
Yeah, they're double covering John Hendricks with a free safety, Danny Kinal. And he's going over and helping out Bobby Hendricks. That's leaving Enrique Sanchez, number 88, one-on-one by himself over here with Marvin Stanford. Let's see if Hemet tries to take advantage of that.
Clark in a slot on this 1st and a country mile. Draw to Lewis, and Lewis gets back 15 of those yards.
Oh, a very good call that time by Coach Randy Brown. It's the wraparound draw where the quarterback goes past the running back. You get the linebackers flying to their respective pass coverage zones, and he just slips it in with his left hand. You know, a great job that time by A.T. Page.
And an excellent block up front to Spring Lewis, and he picked up a good 13 yards, and now it is 2nd and a long 10 from the 39-yard line of Palm Springs. Hemet with the football, closing seconds of the 3rd. Page looking for Lewis, nearly intercepted by Brantley. As Page trying to hook up with Lewis coming out of the backfield. Good defense by Mike Brantley with 15 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter.
Brantley, who says a couple of his favorite football players are Jack Tatum and Alvin Walton. We've seen him run the football a lot tonight, but he's a 2-way player. He gets in there and calls the defenses for him.
2.8 grade point average. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of Sports Channel America, is intended for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or the use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this event without the express written consent of Sports Channel America is prohibited. 3rd and 10.
You got that in, flat.
Got to get it in before the play. Page.
That's
Livingston. 1st down. Dragged down at the 15-yard line. There's John Livingston. He shook the coverage there. Wasn't it good I got that in? 7 seconds to go.
Good job of play calling by Randy Brown. What he's doing is he's shifting his running back over and taking the double coverage off of Livingston. That leaves the corner one-on-one, and Livingston beats him, comes inside on a little square inner curl pattern. Good job by A.T. Page of getting the ball to him. Livingston just does the rest, and now you see why he's such a dangerous receiver.
And that is the final play of the 3rd quarter, but Hemet is on a drive. They trail by 6. They have a golden opportunity. We'll be back to Palm Springs. We now pause for a regional break. One shaping out to be a dandy here in Palm Springs, California. Bob Papa along with Glenn Blackwood. We start quarter number 4. Palm Springs nursing a 13-7 lead. There's the fans looking on, but Hemet is on a drive, and they have a 1st and 10 from the 16-yard line of Palm Springs High School. Palm Springs in the dark, Hemet in the white. Hemet comes in with a record of 1-4, but they have looked sharp tonight. Sanchez out on the right side, Livingston on the left. Page just got it away.
No.
Touchdown, Delgado. And this game is tied at 13. Page waited until the last second.
Well, it was a good pass by A.T. Page. Good poise. He sat in there, waited for Delgado to come free. A play they've run 3 or 4 times tonight, and the tight end has been open every time. It's a fake toss pass. He's going to fake the inside handoff to Prickett, draw the linebackers up. There comes Delgado wide open down the middle. The reason Delgado's open in the middle is because Livingston has been double covered, so the free safety is taken out of the middle of the field. It was wide open. Randy Brown does a nice job of play calling.
All right. So Sonogram in to kick the extra point.
And an important one.
That's right. It would give Hemet the lead because Palm Springs missed their second extra point attempt. And that one is true blue. That's moving upright. And on this first play of the fourth quarter, Hemet has taken the lead. They lead it 14-13. We'll see what Palm Springs has to say about it after this timeout on Sports Channel America.
Well, the art of the play-action pass is to be able to draw the linebackers up and then be able to pop a pass in behind them. That's exactly what Hemet did on that last play. As you'll see the fake to Josh Prickett. It's going to draw up the linebacker in the left-hand side of your screen. By the time he reacts to it, Delgado's by him. Touchdown, Hemet. Another factor in that was the fact that Danny Kinau was not in the middle of the field because he was having to double John Livingston.
There is the scoring drive. 4 plays, 38 yards. It took a minute 46. First play of the fourth quarter. Page 17 yards to Delgado. And now let's see if the Hemet defense can hold. The Sonogram to kick it off. End over end kick. Pinal.
Look out.
To the 40. Sonogram backs out of bounds at midfield. So not bad for Eric Sonogram, the senior kicker who has never played football before this year. He's been thrown down on a field goal attempt, and he saves a touchdown.
We've just seen a few flashes of brilliance by Kinal tonight. Just a couple of receptions, but here, when it gets down to the money time, Danny Kinal comes up with a great return. That's all just instinct. Good move to the outside, slips it up the sideline, and puts Palm Springs in great position to try and come back and take the lead in this game again.
1st and 10 from the 49-yard line of Hemet. Hendrick. Sanchez. He carries tacklers 11 yards. And this one shaping up to be a good one. The Fighting Irish of Notre Dame trying to bounce back after their loss last week to the Stanford Cardinal as they lose their #1 ranking. They take on Air Force tomorrow right here on Sports Channel America, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. Check your local listings. The Fighting Irish of Notre Dame against Air Force tomorrow here on Sports Channel America. So a big run that time by Sean Lopez, number 45. There you get a look at Bobby Hendrick, the senior quarterback of Palm Springs. And right now injured Maurice Chacon of Hemet, number 74. He's being helped off the football field. He is protecting that left leg, and he has been a vital part of that defense tonight.
He is one of the guys that Coach Randy Brown said is their key player on defense. He's a state champion wrestler. He's strong. He's got great balance. And they have to double team him a lot. That leaves the linebackers free, so they're going to miss him sorely.
1st and 10
Fumble.
from the 36, and the ball is loose. And let's see who has it. Hemet says they do. Palm Springs says the other way. Looks like Palm Springs will have it.
They dodged a bullet that time. That ball popped out way out on the ground.
And Sean Lopez,
Trips
number
right,
45, recovered it.
Quarterback, counter, left.
3 receivers out to the right, quarterback counter left.
See if we can see what happened here. Just never got the handoff. Lopez never got the handoff. It bounced off the shoulder pads, and they just dodged a bullet there, as it looks like Lopez recovered his own fumble.
2nd and 8 from the 34-yard line of Hemet for Palm Springs. They trail by 1. Henrik hit hard, and he's brought down at about the 31-yard line. Prickett and company was there along with Stiff. They're working on Maurice Chacon, the nose guard for Hemet.
So he might have sprained his ankle.
Big third down here, 3rd and 4. Maurice Chacon says he wants to major in U.S. history when he gets to college. He says he directs his anger to a positive. He's directed it to a positive fashion tonight for Hemet. Big play right here. Ball at the 31 of Hemet. Palm Springs trails by 1. They have a 3rd and 4. Brantley looks like he may be short as he ran over the right side.
It's going to be close.
See where they spot it.
Looks like it'll be a 4th and a yard.
Well, in this situation in high school football, it's an automatic go for it.
Well, they'll definitely go for it here. It's a little bit too far for a field goal. They've run the football too well tonight.
Ball at the 27-yard line of Hemet. 4th and 1. Lopez the up back, Brantley the deep back, the quarterback Henrik. Brantley looks like he should have enough. It will be close though, as he was thrown back, but where the official spot, it looks like enough for a 1st down.
Just enough surge that time by the offensive line to get him the 1st down, but good job by the linebackers plugging the hole. And again, Josh Prickett, who's come up with an interception, a fumble recovery. You'll see him plug up the hole on the guard, shake the guard, make the tackle. That's the way a linebacker's supposed to do it. Just a little bit, see what the yard marker has, but I believe it's going to be enough for the 1st down.
Plenty of time to go. 9:28 left in the game. Hemet in the white leads it 14-13, and it is a 1st down for Mike Brantley. So the drive continues.
No 80.
Springs has really been very effective running the football, and you get a look at it. 174 yards on the ground, and Hemet's 59.
And a lot of that came in the 1st half with Kevin Dorsey. Dorsey's out of there right now, did a ankle injury, knee injury, but they had a lot of yardage in the 1st down, and now they're having Mike Brantley pick up the load.
1st and 10 from the Hemet 26 for Palm Springs. Henrik looking for a seam and bumped it out of the 20, and what a hit by Delgado, number 42.
I mean, there are some people flying around.
Delgado, another player who plays both offense and defense, as does Henrik. Glenn, what do you look for in a situation like this, a 2nd and 4?
Well, defensively, they're going to run the football or use their controlled sprint outs with their quarterback. Try and keep good, safe plays.
Brantley angling toward a 1st down. He gets across the 15. That will be good enough for a 1st down. And the ball moves deeper into Hemet territory, and the clock continues to tick away. 8:53 to go in the ball game.
What Coach Cheek is thinking when he right now is that their offensive line is doing a great job. They're running the football well. He wants to continue to run the football. He's mixing in a little sprint out with his quarterback. If the pass is there, if it's a sure pass, he's going to throw the ball. But if not, the quarterback, Bobby Hendricks, is going to tuck it under and run. Negates the opportunity for a turnover. Right now, they're getting in field goal range, and he wants to keep control of that football, does not want to risk a turnover.
Lone setback is Lopez. 3 receivers out on the left. They give it off for Lopez. Angles forward for 1 yard. And that is about it. Tripped up by Brett Cherry, number 53. For the sophomore Sean Lopez, number 45. We have not seen Kevin Dorsey back in the game, number 4 for Palm Springs. 8 minutes and 5 seconds to go in the ball game. Palm Springs in the dark uniform trail Hemet 14-13 in Palm Springs, California. Glad you can join us for this week's matchup. We're on the National Federation High School Game of the Week at packed Ralph Watts Stadium. 2nd and 8. Henrik to throw. Looking for Kinal, but over his head. Good coverage by Orlando Lewis, number 1.
Excellent coverage by Lewis on Kinal. Good job by Bobby Hendricks on that play. Keenal was covered. They had the good push by the defensive end up the field to avoid the sack and also the interception. He threw the ball way to the sideline where Keenal would either have to make a circus catch or it would be an incomplete pass. Puts him in a 3rd and 8 situation. And with him in field goal range, look for Coach Cheek to try and keep this ball in the middle of the field.
They have to get to the Hemet 5. Hendrick has Brantley in the end zone, fires it, and intercepted by Lewis, but he was out of bounds. Hendrick had Brantley open for a fraction of a second, but he may have waited a little bit too long. And here comes the field goal unit.
I tell you, Marlando Lewis has run well, but look at him here as he closes on this football. It looks for an instant like and he does a nice job of keeping his eyes on the football, coming up with what ended up being an incomplete pass. But now we're going to have the opportunity for a field goal to see if Palm Springs can go ahead in the game.
Jared Chapman, this will be a 30-yard attempt. They'll spot it at the 20. Chapman boots it, end over end kick, and it is good. From 30 yards away, Jared Chapman's field goal has put Palm Springs up by 2. We'll be back to Palm Springs after this timeout. Cheerleading mascot Danny Bortfield from Palm Springs High School. There's my replacement in a couple of years. He wants to be a sportscaster. Danny practicing with the bullhorn right there. Works at the school newspaper. 3.1 grade point average. Danny Bortfield keeping the spirit going on that Palm Springs Indian sideline. Jared Chapman to kick it off after nailing that 30-yard field goal. Give Palm Springs the lead. Sanchez takes it his own 10.
Oh.
Hammer down. What a hit by Jared Chapman, the kicker.
Same guy that booted the 30-yard field goal comes down and makes the big hit on the kickoff return. Guy's a perfect 4.0 in the classroom, but he puts a perfect tackle on Sanchez right here. Boom! Comes in from the side. Big hit.
Let's take a look at the scoring drive for Palm Springs as capped by Chapman's 30-yard field goal. 9 plays, 35 yards, 4 minutes and 23 seconds. Palm Springs with a 2-point lead. They missed an extra point. Hemet only needs a field goal to win it. Prickett, the fullback, gets 2 as he gets across the 25-yard line, and that is it.
Palm Springs continues to double team John Livingston, leaving Enrique Sanchez one-on-one out by himself. If Randy Brown could get the ball to him, it'd be an opportunity for a big play.
2nd and 8 for Hemet. Livingston out on the left side, Sanchez on the right, and Page keeps it short of a first down across the 30-yard line for the junior quarterback A.T. Page. See the time remaining in the ball game. Page, 3.5 grade point average. Adrian Thomas.
A.T. Page is a real leader out there for Randy Brown's offense. And he's done a good job so far tonight.
Maurice Chacon, the nose guard. And the handoff for Pritchard, and he gets across the 30-yard line. Good enough for a first down. You got to look at Chacon, the nose guard for Hemet, with the bad ankle.
Good tough running by Josh Prickett. We've seen him make a lot of big plays on defense, but he made 2 key runs in that series to give that 3 plays right there. 2 of those runs were by Josh Prickett to give them a first down. Hemet has plenty of time. There's 5:53 left in the game. Plenty of time to drive down the field. They've got an excellent field goal kicker, so they just want to sustain a drive, keep the drive going, and get down in field goal range.
Ball at the 36. Vulak fumble. Ball is loose, and Palm Springs has it.
That's got to be a disheartening turnover for Hemet. Coach Randy Brown said one of the things that worried him was that this big Palm Springs football team was so physical that they pushed upfield, and if you had a slow developing play, they could really snuff it out quickly. That's what that was. It was a little lag action, slow reacting play. And
big turnover, and now Palm Springs will try to run out the clock from the 39-yard line of Hemet. Lopez, the sophomore fullback, rambles forward for 6, maybe 7.
You know, Hemet's got to realize that there's plenty of time left in this football game. Their defense is going to need to just buckle down, get the football back to their offense. There's ample time for their offense to, if they can get the ball back for them, to get them down the field. Of course, they have the excellent field goal kicker. They're only 2 points behind.
Valdez comes out wide on the right side along with Kinal in a slot on the right side. Is Brantley. On a 2nd and 5, Hendrick near the first down marker. He'll be close. And Bobby Hendrick runs out of bounds.
One of the things you want to do whenever you're in the lead and time is of the essence is always try and stay in bounds. You saw that time Hendrick scoot out of bounds. That'll stop the clock, but it puts him just short of the first down marker. It's going to put him in a 3rd and short situation. Excellent time for Hemet defense to rise to the occasion, attack in the middle, see if they can get the ball back for their offense.
3rd and inches from the 29-yard line. Lopez has the first down and a couple of yards to spare, with 4:33 to go in the game.
I think a point needs to be made for the Casey Bryan, Roman Pelham, Kelton Johnson, the center, and 2 guards for that on that offensive line. Steve Clinton and Nathan Greer, the tackles, have done an excellent job for Palm Springs offense in opening up holes for their running backs. Their running backs have done a great job tonight. We've seen a lot of moves, a lot of slipping a lot of tackles, but there's also been some gaping holes, and that offensive line has done a great job.
1st and 10 from the 27-yard line of Hemet. Hendricks, the quarterback. They work out of an I now. Deep back is Brantley. There are flags all over the field as Hendricks runs for his life and is fired out of bounds.
Yeah,
and there's the penalty. Craig Saligian.
Sometimes when you're behind and things aren't going your way, you can get a little frustrated.
There was a flag at the beginning of the play as well.
There's a possibility of it being offsetting penalties, but there was really no need for the defender to throw Bobby Hendricks down on that play after he was out of bounds a good 3 or 4 yards.
Referees discuss it on the field. George Kinder, the referee, in the white cap. Josh Prickett, Hemet, asking the question. Let's hear the call.
All right. First of all, we got illegal procedure on the black team. All right, we're going to go back.
So they'll mark it off against Palm Springs.
Okay, here's what's happening here. It's going to be a 2-penalty deal. There's a 5-yard penalty against the offense for illegal procedure, but there's a dead ball foul.
On the black team, we got a dead ball, personal foul.
Yeah, dead ball foul means the play was already over. The defense would have taken the illegal procedure, but because the penalty against the defense against Hemet happened after the play was dead, in essence, the quarterback was out of bounds, so the play's over. They will penalize the offense 5 yards and then turn around and push Hemet back 15 yards for the personal dead ball foul.
1st and 10 from the 16-yard line of Hemet. Lopez, the up back. Fumble. Let's see who has it. Looks like Palm Springs jumped on it, so the bouncers are just going their way. Let's see who's on the bottom of that pile. For Palm Springs, who was that lucky man? Sean Lopez, the sophomore. Clock stopped with 3:51 to go in the game. Palm Springs trying to run it out. They lead it by 2. We'll be back for the final minutes after this timeout. Jerry Cheek walks off the field as he talks to his Palm Springs club.
Tell you what, he was a pleasure to meet yesterday. Really enjoys working with his kids. Says he likes to help his kids accomplish goals.
Crunch. Hell, coach, you're pinching like shit.
He's coached everywhere.
Pinching,
Washington
pinching,
State.
pinching.
When he got down here to this
Pinching.
Palm Springs High School football team, they had
Where's that
lost
water
19 games in a row, and he has really turned this program around.
Coached the Calgary Stampedes in the CFL.
You know, one of the great compliments, though, about Gerald Cheeks was what Randy Brown, the coach for Hemet, said. We were talking about the rivalry, and he said, but you know, he said, if Jerry Cheeks was given a clinic, I'd be right on the front row listening to him and talking with him. He said, we really share a lot of information with each other, and we're good friends.
2nd and 8 from the 14-yard line of Hemet. Palm Springs with a 2-point lead. Brantley is hammered, but he spins off the tackler. What a run by Brantley. What a touchdown by Mike Brantley. That is the toughest 14-yard run you probably ever see.
Mike Brantley, 5'9", 170-pound senior. And I'll tell you what, he showed amazing balance and determination to get that ball in the end zone as Josh Prickett just came flying in, hit him in the backfield. You'll see Prickett, number 40, just come flying into the backfield and hit Brantley right there, but he just does a great job of keeping his balance and pops it into the end zone.
And Jared Chapman kicks the extra point, and Palm Springs now with a 9-point lead, 23-14 with 3:43 to go in the game. Good work by producer Steve Dance and director Mark Goldsmith.
Get a look at Mike Brantley as Prickett just flies in and lays a vicious hit, but Brantley isn't about to give up, and you never can slow down as a defender when you got a running back as determined as Mike Brantley as he ran right through that tack. Here's another look at it, and you'll see Prickett just comes in, and Brantley does a nice spin move, weaves his way through the secondary, and backs into the end zone. Mike Brantley, Coach Cheek said that he was just solid and steady. Here's a look at it again. Prickett shot the gap, trying to make a big play, and you can't chide Josh Prickett for trying to make something happen. He got right in there and was trying to make something happen big in the backfield, but Brantley just did an excellent job of keeping his balance and made a fine run.
Evan Dorsey talking with Brantley on the sideline. Sanchez with trouble at his own 5. What pursuit that time. And look who's down there, number 66. That's Andy Murin, the nose guard.
I'll tell you what, these guys are flying all over the field. It doesn't seem like they've tired, and it's not cold outside, folks. It is warm here in Palm Springs. But these kids are just flying down the field tonight. They're pumped up about this football game. 8
plays, 39 yards, 3 minutes and 14 seconds. Mike Brantley, a 14-yard touchdown run. Hemet with their work cut out for them. They are down by 9. They have 3 minutes and 38 seconds to work a miracle. 1st and 10 from their own 5. Page downfield. And intended for Sanchez, but twisted him around and incomplete.
Well, that was their opportunity to try and get Sanchez one-on-one. They had good coverage that time by Marvin Stafford. There's really going to be a tough drive for Hemet. There's 3 minutes and 31 seconds left. They're going to have to throw the football. Palm Springs knows they're going to throw the football. This is a real tester time for A.T. Page.
Well, they tried down the middle of the field again. It is incomplete again. Intended for Sanchez. And it loops incomplete with 3:27 to go. I'd like to thank our stage manager, Susan Heeman, statisticians here in the booth, Cheryl Johnson and Adrian Ramirez, researcher Happy Fine. And also thanks to Randy Brown and his staff at Hemet High School for their support yesterday, as you see Coach Brown hobbling along with that bad back. It's going to hurt even more after tonight.
His team's really fought hard.
Page gets it away as he runs for dear life. That's Lewis. And it looks like he has a first down.
Now there's a penalty flag in the end zone that's generally going to show holding.
And it looks like another fumble as well on the far sideline. And once again, another turnover.
If it indeed was a fumble and Palm Springs recovered, I would assume they will turn down the penalty.
We have a penalty flag on the play back in the end zone.
Let's take a look at Lewis and see what happens on that far sideline.
Marlando Lewis and
runs into
Delgado.
Delgado.
The ball does come out right there. It is out on the ground as you see that shoulder pad hit right on the ball as Marvin Stanford just did a good job of putting his shoulder pad right on the football. It popped out on the ground.
Randy Brown's back has to hurt even more. Hemet High School opened in 1976, an enrollment of 2,400 students. More than 60% of the Hemet High School students attend college. There you get a look at the Palm Springs High School players huddled around the referee. That school opened in 1939. Enrollment of 3,200 students. 75% wind up going on to college. 1985 California Distinguished High School.
We have holding in the end zone.
So it's a safety. A holding in the end zone makes it a safety.
If the holding penalty did occur in the end zone, that'll give them 2 points. And Hemet will punt the ball to Palm Springs. You see Randy Brown talking to his players as they come off the field.
Has to be frustrating because they were oh so close. Just a few minutes ago, they had a 16-14 lead.
They had a lot of opportunities tonight. The play going in at halftime and the fumble on 1st and 3 on the 3 going in. The errant snap on the field goal opportunity. But I tell you what, his kids have fought and stuck in there. This whole football game, it has been a hard-hitting affair.
Tell you what, they're not a bad 1-4 looking football team.
No, they've done it. They did a good job tonight. They were an impressive football team, and they were really fired up yesterday. He said these kids are just real excited about the opportunity, and they've done a good job. They have nothing to be ashamed of.
Chisanogram, number 10, will kick the football away. And standing at about the 33-yard line, Kinal, along with Stanford, for Palm Springs.
Let's see if he kicks an onside kick here.
And now a timeout is called by Hemet. So they use a timeout on the kickoff with 3:18 to go in the game. Palm Springs up 25-14. Well, we have seen a knock 'em out, drag 'em out brawl this evening here in Palm Springs, California. And on the Sports Screen Pro Boxing Tour this Monday night at 9 o'clock Eastern, you can see part of the Great Fight Series, one of the best fights of all time. Sugar Ray Leonard against Thomas Hitman Hearns, their first meeting back in 1981, a classic matchup between Leonard and Hearns. And Glenn, that was some fight.
It doesn't seem like it was that long ago. Yeah, 1981, but what a grueling match that was.
Well, the Sports Screen Pro Boxing Tour this Monday, 9 Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific. Check your local listings. Live and exclusive on Sports Channel America. Well, this is not Palm Springs Hemet 1, but it has been a classic matchup between these two schools. Hemet High School and Coach Randy Brown, the only high school in this area to beat Palm Springs twice in the years that Jerry Cheek has been in this area. 3.3 grade point average for Eric Chisanogram. He plays soccer like a business major. His family is from Thailand. You know, interesting story. He had an injured right leg when he first came out for football practice playing soccer, so he went out and kicked a 42-yard field goal left-footed. And the onside kick coming up here. He'll do it righty. Chips it.
Good kick.
But Palm Springs recovers it at their own 35, at the 35-yard line of Hemet. Reller was there, number 2, and he had some help from his friends. See Reller pile off along with Greer, number 56, but it looks like Reller, number 2, was the man who covered the fumble, or the kick, actually. Frank Reller, a sophomore.
Well, here comes the grind the football down the field with a run. As Coach Jerry Cheek runs out the clock, or attempts to.
Valdez out on the left side. Canal also on the left. 3 receivers out on the left. Give it for Brantley. He gets 2, maybe 3. And good sign here because number 4, Kevin Dorsey, is back in the game for Palm Springs. He left with an injury before. And Dorsey had a phenomenal first half, but it's good to see him back on the football field. Right now, Dorsey trying to stretch out a little bit on the field as Reller walks on.
Timeout called by Hemet. Try and buy some time, see if they can keep some time on that clock. I tell you, with as many quarterback, running back exchange fumbles that we've had, that Palm Springs had, you never know what might happen for Hemet. They're hoping for a little bit more of the same.
Greer, you get on this
His
side
voice
over
is head
here.
coach
Where's
Jerry
Pelham
Cheek.
at? No, it's okay. Okay, well, you stay like we usually are. Trips right. Trips right. Dive left. Big split. You can't let them come to you. You got to get up there and get off on the goddamn count. Okay? And don't just try to run up there. Run up there and run up there in the goddamn hole. Look, and you'll see where it's at. It's bigger than a giant.
Well, that's a football coach. They always want that perfection.
Yeah, they're getting big splits on that line.
Oh, a little Gatorade for the mascot, the Bulldog. The Hemet Bulldog.
Tell you what, I don't envy the Hemet Bulldog of being in that fur suit out here in Palm Springs. It's hot out here.
And she is a gamer. So a little Gatorade to cool off with 2:42 remaining in the game. 2nd and 8. Handoff Brantley, and they stop him up. They showed receivers out on the right side. And Hemet will burn another timeout. And the clock is stopped with 2:36. Randy Brown can only pray. His team trails 25-14.
They aren't giving up, though. These kids are still getting after it. Just an impressive group of kids, both sides of the ball.
Oh, good tradition here with both schools. And when you talk about high school football tradition, in 2 weeks we're in Cincinnati. We'll see the Princeton Vikings taking on the Moeller Crusaders. Moeller High School, one of the most famous high school teams in America. From Cincinnati, Ohio, Friday, October 26th. You can check it out right here on Sports Channel America's National Federation High School Game of the Week. Glenn Blackwood and I will be on hand along with the whole crew in Cincinnati, Ohio. Looking forward to that. Right now, Cincinnati is a happy city. Their team is advanced to the World Series. Tonight, the Reds eliminated the Pirates, so the Reds on Tuesday open up against the Oakland A's in the World Series in baseball. 3rd and, well, it's 9. And fumble off the snap, and we see it again. Looks like Palm Springs may have recovered it. There have been a lot off the exchange and a lot of tough handoffs as well, Glenn.
Yep, there have to be.
When we have to do something, we can't do shit.
There have to be 3 or 4 quarterback center, quarterback running back exchange fumbles. You see Bobby Hendricks come off. Bobby Hendricks, Danny Kenal, and Casey Bryan, 3 players on Palm Springs, all were in car wrecks last week.
Right, they punt the football away.
Little pooch punt.
4th down, they pooch it. Livingston lets it roll, and it'll be down just inside the 10-yard line. So Hemet has 1 minute and 49 seconds to make up an 11-point difference. As you see the Palm Springs players trotting off the field.
We were just talking about right before that punt about those 3 players. Coach Cheek said the guys came out, got in a car wreck. One day they let them off.
Yeah, it was the only day that they didn't have practice. As you take a look at A.T. Page, and as we just told you, Cincinnati beats Pittsburgh 2-1. The final score. Reds win the series 4-2. And here we are in Palm Springs, California, with 1 minute and 28 seconds to go in the game. Palm Springs in front, 25-14. And whistles on the play before the pitch goes to Vu La. delay of game against the Bulldogs of Hemet High School. Just had a feeling that this one would go down to the wire. Hemet had a 16-14 lead early in this fourth quarter, but a couple of miscues and turnovers have done them in, and great execution by Palm Springs.
Fumble.
And Vulak just loses the football. Wasn't really hit.
I believe they recovered their own fumble. Need to get a play called quickly here. There's less than a minute left in the game, and Coach Randy Brown, he's got to be proud that his kids just fought all the way through the game, even when things weren't going their way.
Already, Haslam, number 5, is in at quarterback, and he fires a pass along the right side. That goes to number 85, Scott Carlini. And what Coach Brown is doing is he knows the TV cameras are here, and he wants to get all of his kids into the game because they're all so excited about Sports Channel America being in town, and he's trying to get everyone a little piece of playing time.
Well, not only that, but a lot of these kids that are in the game now, they work just as hard during the week as the starters, and they need to have an opportunity to play too. That's what high school football is all about, is giving kids an opportunity to compete.
And loose ball as Haslam has trouble handling the snap from center, which you will see often when a new quarterback comes in. Let's see if that'll be the final play.
They're going to come up and get a play. They had another play, 2 plays called in the huddle.
Well, it's 2nd and 11. Haslam will throw.
Oh,
what
my.
a hit.
Oh.
Wow, what a hit by Roman Pelham, number 58, on Bill Powers.
I played split end in high school, and I never liked running where that middle linebacker was. Woo! What a hit. Get a look here at that hit. That was, the play was signaled dead, but when you're a linebacker and you see a wide receiver coming in, you can't hear whistles. All you can do is react. And you see Roman Pelham react there with just a, it's one of those where the feet, you can see the soles of the feet in the air. It's such a vicious hit. But saw Powers jump up, and he says, hey, I can take it. Fumble.
2nd and long, another fumble. Haslam recovers it, and that will be the final play of the game. Palm Springs defeats Hemet 25-14 in a game that was much closer than the score would indicate. Palm Springs gets their 4th win of the season against 2 defeats, and Hemet drops to 1-5, a pretty good looking 1-5 team.
Well, they had a lot of opportunities to win this football game.
Jerry Clark, the head coach of Palm Springs, thanking the officials. Jerry Cheek.
See him make his way over to talk with Randy Brown. Randy Brown and Jerry Cheek went to the University of Miami this summer in a coaching clinic, spent time together. They're a very close group. You see Randy Brown talking to the defensive coordinator for Palm Springs, Kevin McGuire. They're a real close group.
See it right there. They exchange game films even though they're in the same league. Jerry Cheek and Randy Brown. Palm Springs the winner. We now pause for a regional break. Bob Papa and Glenn Blackwood welcome you back to Palm Springs, California. The final score, the Palm Springs Indians beat the Hemet Bulldogs, the final 25-14. And let's take a look at the final touchdown. This was the key. Mike Brantley, a 14-yard touchdown run. This ices it for Palm Springs.
Well, it really iced it. They were up by then, just going in, and you just see Brantley make a good, tough run. He's hitting the backfield, but he keeps his balance. Does a nice job of getting the ball into the end zone.
Well, there was a safety as well down the stretch. You know, at the start of the fourth quarter, Hemet had a 14-13 lead on Robert Delgado's 17-yard touchdown catch, but really some mistakes down the stretch, and the strong defense by Palm Springs was the difference.
Well, a good job by Palm Springs on defense, but the other thing was the turnovers, and they were key turnovers. There was a lot of balls that were on the ground during the game. but it was those ones going in at halftime for Hemet where they fumbled the ball, 1st and 3 on the 3 going in. Then they held there even though they fumbled, got the ball back, errant snap on the field goal opportunity. So really just those were the key plays right there that kept Hemet from having an opportunity to win this football game.
Well, there you get a look at some of the crowd filing out. Big crowd on hand here in Palm Springs, California. They watched Palm Springs come up with a victory over Hemet. And, you know, we really saw some great play. Kevin Dorsey, for instance, he had 89 yards on 10 carries with just minutes gone by in the second quarter.
Well, he really ran the football well. And also, you know, we talked about Dan Kenau coming in this game, but Kevin Dorsey just lit up the rushing yardage stats in the first half. And that offensive line for Palm Springs just did a well of a job. They opened up big holes and really controlled the football game.
Well, Glenn Blackwood, a pleasure once again as we stop in Palm Springs, California.
Well, I enjoyed it.
All right, get well soon, Mike Blackwood. Once again, the final score. Palm Springs beats Hemet 25-14. And the high school game of the week returns in 2 weeks. Princeton against Moeller in Cincinnati, Friday, October 26th. Tomorrow, the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame try to bounce back after the loss to Stanford. They take on Air Force, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And tonight's National Federation High School game of the week has been brought to you by Gatorade Thirst Quencher. Gatorade for that deep down body thirst. Good night, everyone.